Now, it's everyone's right in a free country to be anti-Semitic, but enough with hiding behind Israel or Zionism or Netanyahu. If you think, as so many do now, that when it comes to human rights, Israel is the monster country of all time, you either don't read or you don't care about your own hypocrisy. Because there are so many worse places. But that's where we are these days. No Jews, no news. Ha ha. But China, Russia, the Sudan, Iran, Myanmar, Haiti, the Congo, North Korea, all way worse. And that's how you know it's anti-Semitism. It's the inconsistency. People talk about Jews these days like something out of Stormfront, except it's not Stormfront. It's an editor from the American Prospect, which is a venerable liberal publication that launched the careers of journalists like Ezra Klein.
Want to get it off your chest? You're in the right place. They accuse this show of being run by boobs. Well, let me tell you about us boobs. We're real and we're spectacular. Want politics and fun sprinkled with a lot of laughs? Heard in every state in the Union and 1,000 cities around the world. We just finished 17 years of broadcast excellence. Now in our 18th year. The Dave Weinbaum Show is streaming live all over the world. Trump, 2016 to 10 years later. I don't know what Donald Trump was thinking when he decided to run in 2016. My only clue came after the Romney debacle back in 2012. And at CPAC, Trump was speaking before a crowd of about 150 in the side room, laminating how Romney lost because he backed him, and he lost to Obama. And until some schmuck in the audience yelled out, he laid down during the last two debates. He scanned the group, looking, and said, that might be right. That schmuck was me. Since then, Trump has had quite a life, beating 17 other GOPers, the Hillary debates, and the feckless way she soured the voters, causing polls to deny she had any risk at all, losing to Donald, 100%, right up to voting. Most of the polls said in unison, Trump had no chance. No chance. Then the riots organized by the Dems ensued, and their hatred that's lasted over the last 10 years. Well, here we are, and Trump has terrible polls again because of the Iran war. He's saving America, Europe, NATO, the Vatican, Israel. He's saving them all from all being nuked. And he's right. During the slump, this schmuck is still thinking that this great president, after he primaried about 10 rhinos, a likely pickup for almost more GOP than history is about, to the same over 10 years later of Republicans wrecking the Dems like Trump did in 2016. From lawfare to Mount Rushmore. Take that, Dems and MSM. This putz has spoken.
Yet no one blinks when one of their editors says, Israel is a brainwashed, psychopathic death cult that might need to be nuked to save the human race. Uh-huh. People say the left and the right can't agree on anything these days. Well, there is this one thing they agree on. Right-winger Tucker Carlson has Nick Fuentes and Holocaust deniers on his podcast, and wonders along with them who really was the bad guy in World War II. And the New York Times has on their podcast super leftist Hassan Piker, who they call a progressive mind, and who says Zionists should be treated the same as Nazis, which I assume means hung at Nuremberg. That's what progressive is now? I guess so. The kids are sure into it. They went nuts last year at Coachella for Kneecap. That's the name of an Irish rap group, as if Ireland hasn't suffered enough.
Hi there. Welcome to the Dave Weinbaum Show. It is May 22nd, 2026, and we got a great show for you. We got, first of all, we got my producer, JP Maxwell. Hi, JP.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Rick Henderson out there in Salem did a great job on the bits and the clips, and we got a lot of stuff. I mean, we have more guests than I can imagine. Lisa's going to be late today. She's going to work from her office because we got some plans for later on. And on the show, we have JJ Bradshaw, the oldest man in America, 257 years old. Richard C. Jeffrey, Mark and Pat McCluskey, and a special guest, Chris Fenton, the Dragon Feeder. All right. This guy is huge in Hollywood, and he's got a confession to make and tell everybody. And that's going to be a scoop. Of course, he had it on his X account. And then there's Bob Willis, my friend and my golf teacher. And he's going to be on, and he's going to be talking about all sorts of the stuff that we want to talk about. And you wanted to say something, JP?
We also have kind of a surprise visit coming in. Bill Hardwick, Missouri State Rep, going for State Senate. And we're going to be hearing a lot from Bill in the next week or two.
Yeah, we sure are. And my 807 guest, he'll be on any second, I'm sure, because it is JJ, after all. And let's see, what else do I got? What else do we got in the news? Okay. In fact, play the next clip. How's that?
Because again, Israel is the only country in the world doing anything bad. I see why the meathead manosphere and the Code Pink people are on the same page, because they both went to high school in America and they don't know anything. So we really could someday soon have the Tiki Torch Jews will not replace us crowd and the Queers for Palestine people working together to elect the next Hitler. There's a North Carolina teenager who's been charged with plotting to drive through a synagogue to fulfill her life goal of killing as many Jews as possible, because a kid's got to have a dream. I'm just asking, why in the world would this be the dream of some kid in North Carolina?
All right.
If I could say something as JJ comes on.
Yes.
Things change. And I mentioned this during rehearsal. A year and a half, 2 years ago, if you had told me that I was going to say everything Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson says I don't agree with, and I find Bill Mayer to be making sense, I would have said as impossible, but that's the reality we're in right now.
That's the reality, and that reality is in a good part our current president. And speaking of presidents, he's an older guy, but he might run someday. Because he's a smart guy. He was around 257 years ago, and he used to hang out with George Washington and Ben Franklin, and all the other dignitaries of that time. And he got a lot of concept, probably input into the Constitution. He is an expert at it. Please welcome, all the way from Rolla, Missouri, JJ Bradshaw.
Good morning, Dave.
JJ, how are you?
It's another good day in the neighborhood. I guess I ought to put on my Mr. Rogers sweater. It's a good one. There's been a lot of stuff happening this week, Dave. I know you've been scrambling to keep up with it. Let's talk about our buddies in the D.C. police for just a minute. If you recall, we spoke about them last week. And that prosecution is firming up. There are now 13 people fired and indicted over misrepresenting the crime statistics in D.C. Now, if you remember, Trump sent the National Guard in there to straighten that place out.
Yeah.
And the folks that ran the city said, we don't need that. Our crime stats are the best they've ever been. Safest place in the world, blah, 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 blah. Well, there was a whistleblower in 2020 that showed up. I researched this last night, that said, hey, these crime stats are being overblown. They're not right.
Yeah.
And that whistleblower was suppressed. Well, lo and behold, 6 years later, here we are. We've got folks from the mayor on down that have got their hands bloody on this thing. And my hat's off to the prosecutors. These are federal prosecutors that are after these folks. 13 indictments and 13 firings. Good. I think the citizens of D.C. have a right to have accurate crime statistics. For Pete's sake, your own government lying to you? Who would have ever thought such a thing?
Well, these are kids gone wild. A lot of them black kids.
Yeah.
Not all, but a lot of them black kids. And, what's her name? Jean Perino. She's telling them, it's time for the parents to keep track of their children, and keep them in the house for curfews instead of running around.
Using for that is we're going to prosecute
trying to kill each other. Yeah. So they are taking that now. That's happening in D.C. Yeah. Even though mostly it's been a success because the mayor acceded to Trump's demands to make D.C. well again and better and be a better place to go and have restaurant food and stuff like that and not worry about getting jumped.
How about that?
Yeah.
Prosecuting the parents is a pretty good idea, except with a lot of these families, good luck finding the parents. There'd be a single parent family with no male involved. But okay, that's lambasting our society.
That's a big thing, and it's there. Okay, it wasn't like that in the 60s. They weren't like they had other problems in the 60s, believe me. But it wasn't like that. They were Republicans back then in the early 60s and the 50s. And
David, if I had been running amok in my teens, my mom would have reeled me in and I never would have seen daylight again. Parenting was actually done back then, and I'm a child of the 60s. Mom and Dad would have killed me if I'd ever started any of that sort of crap. Never happened. I'd have never made it to adulthood. They'd have made sure I died young.
They wouldn't have. It's
not going to have that stuff in there.
They're going to kill you. Your parents aren't going to kill you, are they?
Well, no, but I'd probably not have seen daylight for months and months and months.
Well, that's right. You'd be punished.
Punished severely.
It's so dramatic.
They weren't going to allow any of that sort of stuff.
It's like you're in show business.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God, my parents would have killed me.
Yeah, should I start to tap dance now? My goodness.
We got a movie guy coming on, Don Fenton. I mean, Chris Fenton. Oh, yeah. Yeah, maybe you can throw him a show or something, or, something you can do. This guy's international.
Yeah, I'm not amazing. Say, you remember a guy named Chip Roy?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Chip Roy came up with it's kind of a bigoted thing, but okay, it's interesting nonetheless. Chip Roy came up with a bill called Inhibiting Militant Adversarial Mullahs, the IMAM Act. Oh. And it would amend the Immigration Code, Section 10A-15R, to bar the following titles from coming to the United States of America: Imam, Grand Imam, Shakaya, Mufti, Grand Mufti, Ayatollah, or Grand Ayatollah. Well, surprise, Dave, these are all titles that are Muslim. Yeah. And what the fella wants to do, and this will never pass the Congress, okay?
What do you do if a guy comes in the country, priest, rabbi, I mean, I don't think that's going to work.
No, it isn't going to work. But the fact that he actually brought it up and wrote it up to be a bill, it'll never see daylight out of committee. But the guy's got the right idea. Why would we invite and allow people that are certainly anti-American just by their title? Why would we give them a visa to come to this country? Why would we give them a permanent visa?
There's enough of the illegal aliens, some of whom are Muslim, to send back to whatever country they came from, if and when that occurs. But we don't have to use names of them.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Like I said, this is an anomaly, Dave.
Got a good point.
Something Chip Roy came up with that gave me a chuckle. It'll never see daylight, but at least the guy's thinking right. Why do you allow your enemies into your country? Why do you welcome them into your country? Nancy Pelosi, let's talk about this 86-year-old.
By the way, is she running again?
No,
she's done.
She has endorsed
We erased
San Francisco supervisor.
We erased her from all the bits.
She has endorsed Connie Chan, which is a San Francisco supervisor, to be her successor. Well, okay, I've never heard of Connie Chan, so I did a little bit of research. This chick is further left than Pelosi is. She's probably more sober. When Pelosi did a little TV bit and endorsed this gal, Pelosi had that "I'm drunk on the vodka again" slur to her words, and that wide-eyed, deer in the headlights look that she's got when she's loaded. So she gets loaded, she endorses this gal, and I looked into this Connie Chan, and she's a nut job. How anybody in San Francisco that would consider spending 20 minutes researching this chick would say, I'm not electing her. No. She's fine with needles on the ground. She's fine with people camping in the Tenderloin district. She's fine with people pooping in the street. She's fine with all of that stuff. Well, San Francisco needs something a little better than that, and we certainly need a better senator than that.
Oh,
House of Representatives.
Absolutely. I mean, come on. It's been going on where they've become part of the they're ruining the state is a beautiful state. Okay. It is an amazing place that God put on earth, and they have ruined it because they're tolerating all this crap.
Yep.
These people are not, they're not human anymore. They are run by pills, and they're lying on the ground, and they're not acting like human beings, and they need help. And they also need to clean the streets up so that people can feel safe, so children can go to school.
Yeah. In 1970, I lived in San Francisco. It was a beautiful city back then, although there were places where it was not a good idea to go. But now I wouldn't consider flying through there. I would not stop at the airport. No point. Not going there.
Yeah.
It's hell on earth.
I never liked it. I never liked it.
It's hell on earth.
Yeah.
Hey, let's talk about Minnesota for a second.
Sure.
We've had corruption in our federal government, and Minnesota seems to be the poster child, along with California, of state corruption. Of course, the state corruption is spending federal money, so one could argue that is federal corruption as well. Well, Fahima Mahmood, I don't do Arab names very well, but Fahima Mahmood just been indicted yesterday on fraud and conspiracy charges for $4.6 million. One of her buddies was convicted the other day of $9 million worth of fraud.
Yeah.
And this is the tip of the iceberg.
They're coming in.
JD Vance said a little while back, we're going to go after this. Of course, he's the fraud guru for our federal government, and I think doing a fine job at it. They are pursuing these folks, and I'm glad. Now, are they ever going to get any of that money back? Nah. The trouble with this, you get a conviction or you get a deportation, you get something, But do you ever see that money come back? No. What a shame that is. But okay, it is
Well, I don't
what it
know
is.
about that. I don't know about that. Did they get the money back? You're probably right.
Well,
I'm not
just the
sure.
other day, they got a 230 million judgment against this gal that's
Yeah.
going to prison for 41 years. You
Yes.
think she's going to pay that back? How's she going to do that?
Well,
$1.10 a day prison wages?
she rats out where the money came to.
Well,
She's gonna do it just to
where,
get her 41 years is a long time. She's got a death sentence.
well,
So what's to stop her from claiming these people got the money?
well, maybe. But you ever kind of get any of that back? No. That money went to Somalia. It's being used for pirate boats, for Pete's sake. Who knows? But yeah, what are the odds?
There's a lot of things that we have because Trump was brave enough to do it. Okay, did you ever think we'd take over Venezuela, for goodness
No,
sakes? You got
wasn't on my radar.
Cuba on almost destroying itself. You've got Iran and the Middle East up in arms about what's going to happen. Most of them against Iran. Even the so-called other Muslim countries are beginning to agree with Trump. We need to help you get rid of these idiots.
The other Muslim countries aren't idiots. They have been watching their neighbors get missile attacks and drone attacks.
Sure.
Folks that were otherwise at least neutral towards Iran, and some of them friendly towards Iran, discovered that they have been attacked by Iran.
Yeah.
So there isn't anything that'll change your mind quicker than bullets coming at you. Makes you see Jesus in a hurry. So yeah, the United Arab Emirates, UAE has been neutral in that part of the world for a long time. They're allies of the United States, kinda, and they were kind of friendly with Iran, and pretty soon missiles are raining down on them.
Yeah.
So of course they're going to say, "Hey, we need to do something about this. These people are raining down armaments on top of our civilians."
Well, one of the reasons that they're coming along with the United States, one is the fact that Iran is bombing them, and that's not supposed to be happening between Muslim states, although it does all the time. But by doing that, they especially now, what they saw before the October 7/23 debacle, what they saw was these Abraham Accords being signed up, and Saudi Arabia was just about to do it, and that stopped them for a while. It stopped the whole thing. Well, getting that back is going to be amazing. That you're going to see a Middle East where Egypt and Israel and Jordan and Syria and the rest, Lebanon, they're going to be able to do business with Israel, and doing business with Israel and the United States is a big deal.
It is a big deal. And the actual original Abraham Accords were an absolute miracle.
Yes.
Nobody thought that could be done. And frankly, I'm pro-Trump, and I didn't think that could be done. These people have been fighting each other for centuries, but he got it done. And I think once these folks have discovered that free trade is not such a bad thing, even with Israel, I think we're going to see a little more harmony. But Dave, it's a miracle in my thinking that the fact that actually occurred was a miracle.
Yeah,
I haven't found it in Bible prophecy yet. No place way back when did they say, "Hey, somebody's going to sign an Abraham Accord?" But
this is real history that's going on. The change. This has never happened before, has it? The way Israel took to this war after they figured out finally that God didn't want them to play patty cake with Gaza and Hamas, that he said, "Look, you got to kill them. If they got a 14-year-old kid with a gun, you got to kill them. If they're going to hide under schools and mosques, you still got to kill them because they'll never stop. They'll never stop, and they haven't.
Absolutely right.
They're still bombing Israel.
Gaza proved a lot of that.
Sure.
Where the Palestinians would hide under a hospital and say, "Ha ha, guys, you can't get us." Well, accidentally we got you. Okay. Hey, Dave, I got a little parting shot for you. We got about 5 minutes left, right?
Sure. Yeah. Take it. Whatever you want to do.
Let's talk about people getting primaried.
Yeah.
If you remember when Trump was running for his second term, he mentioned on several public occasions that Rhino folks, and you guys know who you are, you think you can get away with this stuff for decades, and we're going to primary you.
And continue to get away with it, too.
And he primaried them, and the list is growing.
How did he do it? Did anyone not get primaried, or I mean, are they still open to being primaried?
Oh, yeah. There are primaries happening all during May. The latest is Thomas Massey, who lost to Ed Galrain by 10 points. Nobody thought that was going to happen. And Trump told him, Massey, you better get in line with the rest of MAGA. You've got to stop being this independent moron that ends up signing with the Democrats. And, it happened. Massey's out. He's been primaried. There are others, but let's take a look at money for a minute. The DNC is in red ink, that is negative numbers, by many millions of dollars as we speak right now. Kamala Harris spent a tremendous amount of money losing to Donald Trump. And if you look at the RNC ledgers are in the black by many millions of dollars. So the RNC, they finally got a little bit smarter than they were back in the Reagan years. They're starting to put money where it will actually do some good. And they poured some money into the Massey primary.
Sure.
Another one, South Carolina House redistricting is going to eliminate the only Democrat seat in the South Carolina House. That's DJ Clyburn. So Clyburn's going to be gone during.
Clyburn is gone? Wow.
Well, he will be as a result of redistricting.
He was a very powerful guy amongst the Democrats.
Yeah, it's happening, Dave.
Oh, yeah. What about the guy in Georgia?
Well, I'm getting there.
Okay,
Bill
go ahead.
Cassidy, Republican from Louisiana, lost to Julia Letlow. And Julia was endorsed by Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Bill Cassidy was
They're calling it racist. They're calling it racist, but she's black.
He's white.
They
call everything racist.
Well, yeah.
They call the conversation you and I are having right now as racist.
Well, I guess so. We've mentioned some politics, but it, you can't not be honest and not say what's wrong and what's right in certain communities, whether it's Muslim, Jewish, or otherwise.
Well, radical Democrats, it's all about race.
But that's all they got is race.
But that's absolutely right.
Nobody's believing it anymore.
Jay Jones from Lee County, Alabama, was the sheriff, and he lost in a primary because he would not support ICE. And he ran on that, said, we're not going to give our prisoners up to ICE. We're not going to cooperate with them in any way. Made a big deal out of it, and he got primaried.
Yeah.
So he's not going to be sheriff anymore.
Well, in contrast to that, now we got some polls that are behind for Trump. And I'm thinking to myself, this tool shall pass.
Yeah.
Sort of like when you swallow a wrench, this tool shall pass.
Oh, my day.
Because if they get this done with Iran, one way or another, it's going to get done. Trump is that smart. And he doesn't want to go kill thousands and millions of people. He doesn't want our troops being killed. Certainly, he's been very successful at that. So we got to go with the flow here and understand what he's doing and what the results are going to be. It's going to be clear that Democrats have nothing, less than nothing. They will destroy the country if they get in charge again. There's no doubt about that.
They are in negative numbers. And as far as polling goes, Dave, you and I read polls. Some you can believe and some you can't. And the ones you can't believe, the same names keep coming up every time.
Yeah.
CNN poll, for instance. Would I believe a CNN poll? Nah, sorry, I'm not that gullible. And there are others. Okay, down to the last shot on
all right.
On primary. Tuesday, May 26th, there's going to be a runoff between Ken Paxton, the Attorney General of Texas, versus Senator John Cornyn. Of course, Paxton has been endorsed by Trump.
That's right.
And
big time.
This one should be a big deal. These are both pretty heavy hitters, and being primaried, like Trump said before he got sworn in for his second go-around, we will primary you. If you're not going to come along with conservative values, you're a rhino, we will primary you. Well, look, the stuff I just talked about, they've been primaried.
Yes, sir.
I love it. I think that's the way things should be. That's the way our democracy, our representative republic, is intended to be. If you're not a very good politician, you get voted out.
Listen, I got some comments here, which we'll play for you.
Okay.
When we get back on. Patricia Odin Maxwell, sounding good, looking good. Go team. Thank
Good morning,
you,
my friend.
Buddy Wolf. Morning, Dave and crew. Good morning, JJ.
Morning, buddy.
Right, thank you. And Kathy Sanford Dillon, good morning and happy Friday. She coined that phrase. She's probably making thousands of dollars, and I bless you for it.
I certainly
love you all. Have a blessed weekend. Thank you so much, Kathy. And Rick Camino, good morning, good morning. And say hello to that crazy guy that okay? All right, so those are the clips. I wanted you to hear them because a lot of them are always for you.
Well, thank you.
You are very popular here. Let's hear it for JJ Bradshaw.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah,
I'll be talking with you next Friday.
Oh, yes, you will. Yes, you will.
Good
Wait
day.
a minute. Well, no, you won't. All right, tell everybody what I'm doing.
Okay, so just kind of a quick thing. Dave is out the next 2 weeks, but we will still have a show. We're going to have Missouri State Rep and also running for State Senate. Bill Hardwick will be the host, working on getting a guest host. And, of course, I'll still be here helping and running the show. So we will still have a show the next 2 weeks. It'll just be without Dave. So we're going to sub in some people and keep the show running.
Yes, maybe I'll call in.
So, JJ, you will be contacted because we still want to have you on the next 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Just recognize, Dave, when you take a couple of Fridays off, if the show becomes extraordinarily popular, they're not going to ask you back.
Who asked me to do it anyways? Nobody did.
We're kind of stuck with his name on it.
Remember, I got fired at one station, and I sort of like we came to a misunderstanding in the second, and this is my third gig. So it's all been me. I mean, I did work for other people, but I was as nice as I could be, and they got mean to me. So I took some action. And here I am. Never missed a Friday because of that. Not one show did I miss from that, ever.
You recognize that I have never missed one.
I want you to take a good look at this hat. Now, this is a cardinal hat, but look at the demeanor on that bird's face. This is how I'm going to live my life for the rest of my life. This is how I'm going to play golf. This is how I'm going to deal with people. I'm going to be not nasty, but I'm going to be watching, and I'm going to be a little bit crabby. This is me. Get it?
That is the cardinal that will poop on your windshield.
Yeah. Well, no, they're playing really good, and it must be the Jewish guy who refused to come on my show. A guy named Chaim. Yeah, and have you tried to get him on your show?
I was actually in the same room as him on Wednesday. I got to go to Busch Stadium as part of the Cardinals affiliate day, and he was up there. He was up there talking, then had to go to his suite or whatever. But try to go there, shake his hand. Too many people couldn't get over there, but I'm still working on it. I got some contacts now. So
yeah, you tell him I want to talk to this guy.
Okay,
all right, because Chaim,
yeah,
he's Jewish. a Jewish guy.
And he's doing a great job.
And I'm telling you, the Cardinals are something to watch these days. So, all right. Thank you, my friend. You have a great weekend.
Dave, I've enjoyed every moment of it. Good day.
Ida Jean. Bye-bye. All right. We're back on the show. If you want to call the show, 573-578-2700, or
you can also reach us through comment on Facebook, X, YouTube, and Rumble.
Yeah.
And didn't know if we want to get our first commercial break in before Richard.
Yeah, let's do that. We're going to do commercials right now. Thank you for reminding me, because I'm it's hard for me to talk and then see the clock. That's why you need a producer. You need somebody to limit your tired ass. Did I say that? I'm sorry.
Honey, what are you doing?
What does it look like I'm doing?
It looks like you're filling up a swimming pool.
Yep, I'm filling up a swimming pool.
In our living room?
How else am I going to watch the game and stay cool?
If your AC is on the fritz, call Hartley's Climate Control. Hartley's is the area's best in HVAC repairs, installs, and maintenance. Knowledgeable, honest, and dependable. Serving Rolla and the surrounding areas for commercial or residential needs. Hartley's Climate Control. Community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Never be too coy to tell your friends and family about koi sushi and hibachi. Celebrate the best Chinese-Japanese restaurant in the Midwest. Call 573-426-5551 to make a reservation or order takeout. Locally owned, 1808 North Bishop, Rolla, Missouri.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy. But also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender. All one word. But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is two words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day. Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
At your locally owned Price Chopper, our standards are high because we know yours are. See for yourself what an incredible fresh selection of grocery items we have in store. Talk to our expert meat associates about what you're looking for. They're happy to meet any special requests like custom cuts, or see our expert produce associates on how to pick out the best fruits and vegetables. Quality in the deli means fresh, full flavor, and always delicious. If you're craving fresh baked goodness, we have that too. You can expect the best selection and the best value while interacting with our friendly and knowledgeable employees. You can find what you're looking for fast and easily at the best prices at Price Chopper. Fresh savings every day. Insurance going up like crazy? Daniel and Henry Insurance is one of the largest private insurance companies in the world. Richard Boyette, 314-444-5011. He's my guy at Daniel and Henry for 10 years. Business or personal, call Richard at 314-444-5011. He's the best.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Bob Willis, an author and a writer, and I write nature books. I live here in a ranch on the Ozarks and have published many books over 2 decades of writing. The Trout Adventure series of books was about traveling the world with a camera and a fly rod. The Last Buffalo in Kansas is a true story about one family's journey through 100 years of American history. A couple of years ago, I decided to write a children's nature series of books. 2 of those books have been published. The Adventures of Dog is a story about a puppy that grows up on a ranch in the Ozarks and has fabulous adventures. The Adventures of the Cats R Us Gang is about a group of cats that band together to protect the ranch from a dastardly group of raccoons. Wonderful stories for children, wholesome, about nature and the Ozarks. They're available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and in Walmart even. They're available locally at Reader's Depot. Hey, take a look at them. Thanks a lot.
Maybe it's for a kitchen you've always wanted. Maybe it's just to have a little extra room. Whatever the reason you're considering a new home loan, it's good to know that Town & Country Bank will guide you in the right direction. Our experienced local lenders are here to help you with a new home construction, remodeling projects, and fixed and adjustable rate home loans. You can even start the process online by clicking Online Mortgage Center at tcbanks.com. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Okay, we're back, and we're going to do a clip. We got a guest on hold. Hold on.
And Dan is fairly typical of the guys in the manosphere when he says, the only real battle in the world today that I see worth fighting is fucking, exterminating Israel. I mean, I would sign up tomorrow to go fucking put boots on the ground and go fucking kill Israelis. Why? Why is this asshole's life about 2 things? Getting more Viagra and exterminating the Jews. Israel was founded on the idea that anti-Semitism made a Jewish state necessary because Jews would never be safe without one. Can you honestly listen to this rhetoric and not see why that turned out to be true? If you don't have the right-wingers on your side, if you don't have the progressives, what do you have? What's more progressive than college, where professors now say things that would make Kanye wince? Osman Omgarji calls Zionists bloodthirsty animals. Who's he, the leader of ISIS? No, he's a professor right here in California at UC Irvine. And Candace Owens agrees with his assessment of Jews as animals because she says wherever they go, they bring their filth with them. Another professor, Hamid Dabashi, says of Israel's, they have a vulgarity of character that is bone deep and structural to the skeletal vertebrae of its culture. These are the kind of statements Goebbels would have read and said, no notes. I mean, where are the Jewish space lasers when you need them? Now, there are absolutely horrible things said about Muslims, too. That should also be, of course, roundly condemned, like Republican Congressman Randy Fine saying, if they force us to choose, the choice between dogs and Muslims is not a difficult one. That's awful. But it's not the same as they need to be nuked. And let's exterminate them.
Okay, we're back, and we're waiting on our next guest. That's Richard C. Jeffries. And I guess I'll start introducing him as he's calling J.P. Maxwell, which is never a good thing. This man is an extraterrestrial expert. He's sightings from his daughter indicate that they are actually able to possibly put you to sleep and forget about the whole encounter as it happened to his daughter. The time travels of the aliens from ancient times. He knows of at least 4 types of space aliens and how memory takes away from them and how they get things done with communication that is based on brain contact. So, what's the problem?
He had the email that I sent him with the show link, and then He couldn't find it, so I just resent it to him. He's trying to get his computer.
All right. Well, we got stuff we can talk about, and we can always do that. Well, why don't we do a bit? All right. I don't know. Pick one.
You want something funny?
Yeah.
Okay. I got
sure do. Okay.
Did you ever look at your watch and then you don't know what time it is? And you have to look again. And you still don't know the time. So you look a third time and somebody says, what time is it? You say, I don't know. Did you ever notice how sometimes all day Wednesday, you keep thinking it's Thursday? And it happens over and over all day long. And then the next day, you're all right again.
You already are the oldest president in history, and some of your staff say you were tired after your most recent encounter with Mr. Mondale. I recall yet that President Kennedy had to go for days on end with very little sleep during the Cuba Missile Crisis. Is there any doubt in your mind that you would be able to function in such circumstances?
Not at all, Mr. Truitt, and I want you to know that also I will not make age an issue of this campaign. I am not going to exploit for political purposes my opponent's youth and inexperience.
Okay, we got our guest. Thank you. We already told everybody what a nice guy you are. So, we're going to go right on to the interview. This is Richard. Richard C., Jeffrey. What does the C stand for?
C is my father's first name. Charles.
Oh, Charles. All right. So there are alien types. Let's play that clip for him. The alien type.
Yes.
Yeah. So he actually told me he sent this. I thought I got it independently, but it's kind of interesting. Real interesting.
Same Democrats went after Trump for an insurrection when we now know that the FBI, through the deep state, had over 270.
Another scientist called them Greys, Nordics, insectoids, and reptilians. All of them have 2 arms and 2 legs, just like us. Experts speculate the reptilians are scaly with long tails like a lizard. Insectoids look like a praying mantis. The Greys look like your classic movie alien, and the Nordics look like a regular Swedish guy, but 7 feet tall.
What you're going to find if you look closely is that these creatures have been mentioned in almost every ancient text and mythology.
I have seen evidence in a skiff that leads me to believe there are things we cannot explain, and I have observed things that are of non-human origin and creation. That's my opinion.
So everything that they're talking about, this has been around since man started recording history and before, right?
I've been talking about this ever since I got on your show.
Well, I got my excuses. I had that encounter, and occasionally it hits my memory. I gotta do this a few times. That's why I cut my hair, so I could slap myself and feel it and say, "Oh my God, is that what happened?"
So when people hear this for the first time, they tend to dismiss it as fantasy or people that are making up things. But it's the truth. Today. Oh, by the way, I sent you a picture of the 4 different types. If you want to post that,
do you have that?
Is that on the show page?
Yeah,
sent through Messenger.
Actually, it was on the clip. It was on the bit that you just played with.
Okay,
but I don't think we saw the bit.
No.
But it was
just
on. I think it was on a reel. Pretty sure it was on a reel. Okay, there it is, right there. Yeah.
Share it.
Can you share it? Okay. Yeah. So what's a big deal about a Swedish guy who's 7 feet? There it is.
There. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not Swedish. It's Nordic.
Nordic.
Looking. Okay. And then next to him, you have the reptilian.
Yeah.
And what you don't see actually is there's a tail behind that fella. He's got a reptilian tail.
Yeah.
The next to him is the classic gray.
Yeah.
Which is most people are familiar with that. And lastly, there's the insecticide, and that is a sentient, intelligent being that's based on an insect life form.
Wait a minute, did you miss one? That's three of them. So as my eyes go to the right, I'm seeing a blonde-haired guy.
Okay, that's the Nordic.
That's the Nordic. Okay, you didn't. So you didn't mention him. Could be a her because the hair is so long, and but the one to the right of him is, what is that again?
That is a reptilian.
Okay, and he's got a big tail.
Yes,
and
he's got a long tail. Well,
and the other two aren't dressed in anything; they're just naked.
No. Well, let me tell you what they represent.
Yes,
they actually represent divergent timelines of human and Earth history. So the interdimensionality. We, of course, would be a part of the timeline of the Nordic-looking creature.
Okay, so let me ask you: does this mean that now? How far back do we trace human lives? It's got to be maybe about 10 million years, I'm guessing. Well, but you got a Bible to deal with, and you got to wonder.
Human lives. Remember, they were created.
Yeah,
and the Bible clearly says that let us make man in our image.
Who's us?
So, there's the $24,000 question. I can't see. I can't see anything on the screen right now.
You can't?
Went black.
Oh, okay. Well, keep going.
Oh, there we go.
All right.
So, who's us?
Yeah.
Well,
I thought it was God.
Yeah, well, of course. It's in your Bible, by the way. Check it out.
Yeah. Okay.
Tell
me about it.
Let us create man in our image.
Let us create man.
That's in
us.
Genesis.
Okay.
And there's been speculation about that.
Yeah.
But I believe that when man was created, it was a effort by the Creator and those around him. He was a part of an existing society. This ruffles feathers all over the world, I know.
Okay, God was a part of a godly society.
Yeah, if you will.
Okay. So where does Satan come along with this? Where does Jesus come along with this?
Okay, well, we're talking religion here, but Satan was a part of that same society.
Yeah, he was an angel, wasn't he?
That did not think that what God was doing was right.
Correct. I understand that way, I think.
So he took 1/3 of all other beings and waged a war against God.
Yeah.
So that's Satan, all right.
All right.
So so it's hard to grasp what went on before us, but truly we were created by them.
Well, okay. Now, does this indicate that there were extraterrestrial lives before humans, going way, way back into?
Indeed, without a doubt.
Because the time is a little skewed when you're doing it day by day. How long was the day? Could have been 1,000 years, or it could have been one day, or it could have been 1,000,000 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, theologians have grappled over this for millennia, and so I'm not going to come to one conclusion with you today. But today,
and I want to know it all.
I want to talk about one of the strangest and probably the most controversial mysteries in our history.
Yeah, go ahead.
Alien abductions.
Yeah.
We were talking about
about that last week, and your daughter experienced something. Just briefly go over that.
She did. Well, okay. She was going out to pick up the mail.
Yeah.
It was in the evening. The sun had just set. And behind our house, in the valley behind our house, was a saucer shaped vehicle hovering. So she took out her phone, and she clicked off about 3 or 4, maybe 5 pictures of this vehicle. And then she walked into the house and forgot all about it.
And that would be a big deal, right? Especially
a huge deal.
Especially in your house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right?
Oh, especially. And she did not find those pictures until about 3 weeks later, while she was going through her camera.
But she had no knowledge of them.
No. And
she lost all knowledge of them after taking them and coming back into the house.
Yeah. And then it sparked a memory for her. And she came up to me and she said, "Dad, look, I was going to tell you this. It really shocked me when I saw this, and I took pictures, but I forgot.
Wow. And that is very unlikely.
Of course.
Almost impossible that she would not come and yell the first thing, "Dad, look what I did. Look at these pictures."
Of course.
Yeah.
Now you want to know what happened to the pictures? There's another story behind this.
Yeah, where's the pictures?
So I was showing them to people at church, to my pastor, to all, and they said, "Yeah, this looks like the classic flying saucer with a dome on top." And I was going to call MUFON and send them the pictures that we had taken.
Yeah.
Well, my daughter had gone to camp with her band. They had a band camp every summer.
Yeah.
And so she calls me in the evening in tears. She goes, "Dad, somebody took my phone."
Uh-oh.
And I go, "What do you mean?" She goes, "I put it down as we were eating at the table.
Yeah.
And I was eating with my friends. And when I looked, it was gone."
Wow.
And she goes, "My friends wouldn't take my camera." So I come to the conclusion that it was retrieved.
Well, you don't have any proof. However, that sounds awfully like a pretty good lead right there. You know?
Right?
And
so that's what happened to the pictures, and we have nothing to show for it.
Do you have any knowledge of any organization? You named this organization beforehand. What was the name of that?
Yeah. MUFON.
Now, what is that again?
Okay, MUFON is it's an organization that watches. Okay, it watches UFO activity in the United States and across the world.
Do they monitor to the extent that they might steal some of your daughter's?
No, I
camera?
don't think they would. No.
So who do you think did it?
I really think that the extraterrestrials knew those pictures were on the camera and took it by whatever means.
So first they stopped her memory of it, and when she saw the pictures and got her memory back, how did they know that? And number 3, how did they know that she didn't reproduce these pictures in other ways so that they would have a lot more trouble tracking it down.
A lot of questions. I don't know the answers to them,
Yeah,
but I do know they disappeared. Getting back to MUFON.
Yeah.
It stands for the Mutual UFO Network.
Okay.
And it's a nonprofit organization based in Cincinnati, Ohio. All right. And and people call in every day there. They get UFO sightings every day in the United States, and they've been increasing.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Since the year 2000, it's gone up exponentially.
So I was one of the old timers back in 81 and 82. And
Yeah.
there's always a possibility that a lot of these people had their memory erased and had things done to them or examined by the extraterrestrials, and I could be one of them.
It could be.
Yeah.
Well, many people that have had contact or abduction share like similar details about it, and some of the common details that they have are awareness of a time gap, like we were talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. And then others have had strange physical marks on their body.
Yeah.
Like cuts, bruises, burns, unexplained lumps behind their ears.
Yeah.
Or on the back of their head. And they swear that they're UFO related.
Yeah. Well, what are the chances of us being the only planet in the universe having these kinds of situations and not having other planets in other systems, solar systems, where similar things can be done? We have no idea how big the universe is, do we?
No, I think what we're talking about is germane to Earth, and that other situations exist on other planets. And once again, extraterrestrial, I don't believe so. I believe that these are all Earth beings from different dimensions, from different times. And so
why don't you believe that some other planet could have gathered and or grown into another population, another world, maybe as deep as ours, maybe deeper than ours, maybe more shallow than ours? I don't know. I mean, who knows? It's all up there. And if anyone's going to find it, why is Elon Musk so focused on Mars? Why not some other planet?
Well, I've heard a number of things. Yeah. I've heard that there are, quote, alien bases on Mars.
Yeah.
Okay, I've heard this, and but I question whether they're alien or not. They could be human from the future, or human from the past. So we're not quite sure. I'm not quite sure. And I've also heard that we're working with some of these beings right now.
Yeah.
And developing new technologies from what they're teaching us.
Okay. All right.
Getting back to the abductions and contact, people also have emotional effects. Like they have like confusion, anxiety, nightmares, trouble sleeping. And they
sounds like my last wife.
Yeah.
Damn.
Maybe she had a contact. Huh?
No, I'm talking about me. I'm talking about her.
Well,
she was happy.
Something that you were talking about
Could
with
be.
me is some of these people under hypnosis or like guided counseling,
Yeah.
they start to remember these things happening to them, like being taken inside a UFO.
Yeah.
And a lot of them described like bright rooms, medical examinations that they had.
Yeah.
And
that makes sense to me.
Strange alien beings looking at them and testing them on like medical tables.
Yeah.
You know, so they have these very vivid memories of this.
No parties, though.
No parties.
Huh. I just want to.
Now these memories are kind of controversial because hypnosis sometimes can create false memories.
But hypnosis can make false memories appear.
Yeah.
As real, right?
So, but people who believe in this thing actually happening say, you know, the similarities between their stories make them really difficult to refute.
The founding fathers of this country believed in it. In 1861, they had UFO craft spotted by Union Navy. Just observing them during a war and all. And how do we know look, if they were really unfriendly and had so much more technology than we did, they could destroy us. It seems like that the good portion of them want to get along and help us.
Well, if we are part of their timeline or a part of their race, so to speak, of course they wouldn't want to harm us. Talking about in one of the most famous alien abduction stories happened in 1961.
Okay.
A couple named Betty and Barney Hill. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
No. But they invented Hill. Did they invent Hill 51 or?
You're going to love this, Dave,
go ahead.
because they saw a strange cigar-shaped object in the air.
Okay, what did it look like?
Huh?
What did it look like, though? Mine was huge.
Bright metallic.
Exactly. Was it big?
It was huge to them. Yeah. It was huge. And then, they were driving home they lived in New Hampshire.
Uh-huh.
And when they got home, they realized that nearly 2.5 hours of time were missing from their trip.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they, under hypnosis, like years later, they talked about being taken aboard a spacecraft. And
excuse me, I think I sense another terrestrial person in this room. Oh my God, it's Bill Hardwick.
Hey, good morning. Is his microphone on?
He just appeared. How that
happens?
Yeah.
Oh, are you talking about the interdimensional beings?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what the Congresswoman said.
But we have 8 decades.
So she said they were,
of them hiding this stuff from America and Trump
Anna Luna, right?
Yeah, Luna.
Yeah, I wasn't a conspiracy theorist until I was in the government. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, yeah, they are not always.
We know Richard Jeffrey, right? Do you know him?
I think we talked before.
Okay,
yeah.
Nice to see you again.
Likewise.
Did you put him to sleep so he couldn't remember, or what?
Me?
No, I'm talking to Richard about you.
No,
no, you didn't put him to sleep. Yeah, do you have those kind of powers, or do you understand how they work? When you put people to sleep and they don't remember anything. Did you ever have a experience
with UFOs?
The UFO? Seriously, yeah, you were in war.
I think I've seen stuff in the sky. I don't know what it is, but no, I haven't had any alien experiences personally.
Okay.
There's another.
Don Mayhew.
Another famous case I wanted to tell you about.
What?
A guy by the name of Travis Walton.
Yeah.
This was in 1975. So he was working with a logging crew in Arizona.
Yeah.
And he claimed he was struck by a beam of light from a UFO.
Yeah.
And witnesses saw this, and he disappeared for 5 days.
Wow.
So, like,
when he came back, did he remember?
Well, yeah. When he came back,
must have been quite a party.
He claimed he had been aboard an alien spacecraft.
Yeah.
And his experience led to a movie. I think it was called Fire in the Sky.
Okay.
With D.B. Sweeney and.
Really?
Yeah, it's like from the early 90s.
That?
Yeah, I'm a trivia guy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's a trivia guy.
Yeah, the alien's based on Laurence Olivier. Yeah. It's actually true. You know what I'm talking about? I don't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, these stories come from ordinary people with no history of mental illness or anything. So, and there's stories
I had
similar.
I had a brother-in-law that claimed he was abducted and that they stuck something behind his ear. But
just as long as they stick something behind your ear.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm sure there's other examinations going on, If they were,
there are too many similar stories for
okay,
all
well,
of them.
where does this takes us to a little time travel. So why don't we do we have an idea of by the way, Lincoln had dreams about his assassination. Did you know that?
Sir, yeah, I've talked about that.
Yeah.
And
he said it the way it was going to happen too, according to what I read.
All of this is going to be covered in my upcoming book.
What's your book's name?
Through the Mists of Time.
And when is it coming out?
It's coming out later this summer, probably in August.
And before we go further, what books do you have out there right now, or what book do you have out there right now?
Right now, I have a collection of patriotic poems.
Yeah.
Called A is for America. And there it is.
Yeah, there you go.
And each letter of the alphabet has 2 poems that deals with a cultural aspect of the United States. And
now, go ahead. Do you have something else to say about the book?
Well, yeah, that it can be purchased at Amazon.com. It could be purchased at Barnes & Noble online, and also by Liberty Hill Publishers.
Okay, great. So where does Donald Trump and his family come in with this? And you had you had a relative, either you used to call yourself Lockwood.
Yeah, I know. See,
I don't know why you did that.
I had a book out called The Ballad of Donald J. Trump.
Okay? Right.
And I took a pen name so that some of the crazies wouldn't burn down my garage.
Ah.
And
by crazies, you're not talking about aliens. You're talking about just normal crazies. About. Yeah. Okay. All right. So where does Donald Trump come in on this? I mean, he seems to have been anointed by God himself. And it's probably hard for people to believe, but I had somebody contact me on a private message telling me that, look, he's just been anointed by God. When he got shot in the ear, in the right ear, he had blood from that.
Sure.
Blood from his
biblical.
His right thumb and also his foot. They all received blood from this one bullet that was sure, if this guy was aiming right, to kill him. Instead, he came back to fight, and that's what he said: fight, fight, fight.
Well, okay, let's go into the story just a little bit.
Okay,
just a little bit.
All right.
So back in the time of Abraham Lincoln,
yes,
Lincoln was having these premonitions about what would happen to him.
Uh-huh.
But before his assassination at Ford Theater, he sent one Mr. Ingersoll Lockwood,
okay,
to be the ambassador to Germany.
Ah.
And with him, he sent a letter, presumably, from what I've heard, to Donald Trump's grandfather.
Okay.
Who was in Germany at the time.
Yeah.
So what the theorists say is that the future was revealed to Donald Trump's grandfather. Now, he went, the first thing he did, excuse me,
it's okay.
I've got this allergy thing going on.
Okay.
But the first thing that Donald Trump's grandfather did was not come to the United States. He made a beeline straight to the Klondike.
The Alaska. Yeah.
The gold rush up there.
Right.
And he wasn't mining for gold. He was given instructions to open a store to sell goods to the miners.
Instructions by whom?
I from what I've heard, they were in the envelope that was sent by Abraham Lincoln through Ingersoll Lockwood.
Okay. So Ingersoll Lockwood went on to do what?
Ingersoll Lockwood, when he came home, wrote books about little Baron Trump.
Yeah. There was no Baron Trump, and there was no. Yeah.
So right now, if you want to look it up.
Yeah, it's on sale.
Lockwood, the marvelous adventures of little Baron Trump and his dog Bulger.
Late 1800s and early 1900s. 3 books for him, right? For and they have him on time travel. They have him traveling underground in tunnels.
Yeah. Yes.
All of this leading into Elon.
So I must say that I believe Donald Trump has knowledge of what's going to happen and of what he must do to make it occur.
Yeah.
So when he takes an action, he does it very, very deliberately. And he takes actions that no other president would do.
Right.
Because he's very certain of his mission.
He seems like he is. You know, that's the thing. He gets over these things, and they can't handle what he comes up with. They just can't do it. All right, we're going to get going here. I got to do another set of commercials. You got one more closing item for me?
Well, since we're talking about Trump, once again, I'll refer you to the Hermit of Loretto, who was a man who studied, who meditated in Loretto, Italy.
Yeah,
it's a very special place because the material was brought back from the Holy Land to reconstruct the house where the Virgin Mary dwelled. But anyway, he had a vision there that Donald Trump would bring Christianity and the Word of God back to the United States Republic at a time when it needed it. And so that we're seeing a revival right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And he's also trying to stem the flow of anti-Semitism
of course,
all over the world.
It goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
Christianity and Judaism are,
and it ought to,
inextricably intertwined. You can't speak of one without the other.
All right. Well, listen, I'm going to get going here, and just want you to hear, because I gave you all the other stuff. Did you hear about the tiny shopping area?
No.
It was called a small. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what do you got? Come on.
What do you know from funny, you bastard?
I can say that to you because you're a friend, all right? Him?
Okay.
Yeah, I can say it to him too. All right, thank you so much, Richard Jeffrey the star of the outer world, so to speak. There you go. Thank you. Have a great
God bless you,
weekend.
Dave. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, that was pretty good. Now we got Bill here, and we're going to do a commercial, and we'll get you in for, maybe you can sit in a little bit for Mark McCluskey, who's always fun. Been getting into conversations with him. I gotta go. I gotta go get a drink or something because I just.
With warmer temperatures right around the corner and allergies ramping up, now's the time to get those AC units serviced. At Hartley's, we pride ourselves in offering outstanding service with fast response times. With proper maintenance, you can make those hot days be a lot cooler and remove those pesky allergens that always seem to find their way into your home. Call us today so you can be living a much cooler and healthier life. Hartley's, community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Never be too coy to tell your friends and family about koi sushi and hibachi. Celebrate the best Chinese-Japanese restaurant in the Midwest. Call 573-426-5551 to make a reservation or order takeout. Locally owned, 1808 North Bishop, Rolla, Missouri.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy. But also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender. All one word. But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is two words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate.
Your home is your castle, you don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments, that's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333.
Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Busy schedule? Let your locally owned Price Chopper help you save time with online shopping. It's easy. Sign up to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app in the App Store or Google Play. Create an account and browse through the categories and choose the items you need. When you place your order, your personal shopper will get all of the items you've selected, taking the same care you would and following your notes. We offer free curbside pickup, so you don't even have to get out of your car. Start your online order today and no online shopping fee for a limited time. Go to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app to get started. Price Chopper. Fresher savings every day. Insurance going up like crazy? Daniel and Henry Insurance is one of the largest private insurance companies in the world. Richard Boyette, 314-444-5011. He's my guy at Daniel and Henry for 10 years. Business or personal, call Richard at 314-444-5011. He's the best.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Bob Willis, an author and writer, and I write nature books. I live here in a ranch on the Ozarks and have published many books over 2 decades of writing. The Proud Adventure series of books was about traveling the world with a camera and a fly rod. The Last Buffalo in Kansas is a true story about one family's journey through 100 years of American history. A couple of years ago, I decided to write a children's nature series of books. 2 of those books have been published. The Adventures of Dog is a story about a puppy that grows up on a ranch in the Ozarks and has fabulous adventures. The Adventures of the Cats R Us Gang is about a group of cats that band together to protect the ranch from a dastardly group of raccoons. Wonderful stories for children, wholesome, about nature and the Ozarks. They're available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and in Walmart even. They're available locally at Reader's Depot. Hey, take a look at them. Thanks a lot.
At Town & Country Bank, we are committed to providing exceptional service to our customers. We do more than just provide loans for our community. We help make dreams become reality. Whether it's a new home, farm, business, or a new car, we would love the opportunity to help. Stop by one of our 2 Rolla locations and let our friendly lending team remind you how special hometown banking can be. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Okay, we are back. And we are back with Bill Hardwick. And he is running for senator of the whole state of Missouri now, right?
It's only 6 counties. State Senate. There are 34 state senators.
The most important 6 counties, right?
To me, yeah, this is my home.
So
that's where I'm from.
That's right. From Waynesville, Missouri, right? Basically.
Yeah. Waynesville, Dixon, Rolla.
Yeah.
It's all, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I was born here.
Okay.
And then I grew up like 30 minutes from here where we are.
So we have big fights now over AI.
Yeah.
And McCluskey is going to be on today, and he is so anti-AI that it's incredible. He's claiming it's going to suck all the electricity out of small towns everywhere. And I don't know if that's, I said, well, aren't there other ways to, well, there's coal. I said, well, okay, well, I'm not hearing this. I am hearing that it can be dangerous for children. I can get that.
AI
and
or the
AI,
yeah.
AI, just
yeah.
People taking advantage of kids on there, and probably there needs to be some litigation on that, some
right.
legislation, I should say. So, what are your thoughts on AI? I know you have some problems with it too.
We're having a series of town halls about it,
yeah.
And even today, I got some flack from some lobbyists and folks on Twitter who are criticizing me, saying that we are using inflammatory language, and what are we bringing this up for? And I'm not trying to use inflammatory language. I think that data centers in Phelps County and Laclede County, they're actually people who are approaching landowners. There are companies looking to develop that.
Yeah.
It's a genuine issue. And if we're concerned about, okay, if Google or Microsoft has a gigantic data center in your county and the electricity is an issue, are they going to make sure that they take care of you, the single homeowner? Or are they going to make sure they take care of Google, right? That's a concern. It's a concern about, okay, if you have that much electricity going to one place, is there that EMF radiation coming off, right? Is it affecting people's health? There are environmental concerns like that. I think personally, one of the concerns that I raised last night is I talked about all the data that's being collected on everybody. So the data centers have powered the internet since the internet was existing. Like the internet exists on servers, right? It's that the requirements that we need for all the data that is being generated by everybody, and to fuel the capacity that Grok, Claude, ChatGPT are storing all this stuff on, right? That they're just getting smarter and smarter. The knowledge base is growing. Plus, everything you do on your phone, everything you do on the internet, all the metadata, all your calls,
right?
All your, every internet usage, every article, every Facebook post, that's driving more and more data, right?
Yeah.
So if you have all this data about everybody, is that going to turn into like a social credit system like China has eventually against people?
That's
where
that's what McCluskey is going to argue.
That's interesting.
You ought to stay in there for a while.
I'll stick around and talk about that.
He's coming on here very shortly.
Yeah, he and I haven't talked about that, but that's a concern I have. Yeah. So like in China, if you say or do the wrong thing, your score goes up or down. If you're doing things the government doesn't like, your score might go down.
Yeah.
If your score goes low enough, you can't start a business, you can't travel. China controls you. So the future, the world is changing faster than people. And by the way, there's an optimistic view of it. There's a good things that'll happen. There's a pessimistic view. My view is I'm trying to make sure people are being taken care of. People are being safe, and we're not taking people's liberty away. And that privacy is an actual thing for people too.
Okay, we're going to introduce. You're welcome to stay.
Yeah, let me stay for a few minutes.
It's I have to have lawyers on the show. I don't know why.
Yeah, just like Abraham
But
Lincoln.
this gentleman, a brave couple, having a barbecue in their backyard, barefoot, attacked by 350 BLM and Antifa, escaped with 2 guns and 2 words: private property. Let's hear it from the McCluskeys. Now, this shouldn't be a shock with you, but I have another lawyer here.
Hi, Bill.
Hey, Mark. How are you
know
doing?
each other.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and he has some common things along with you and AI. So I wanted he's talking about a lot of stuff that you're talking about, the electricity, the gathering of information, things like that. So what are your thoughts again, just briefly?
Briefly, well, let's put it this way. I addressed the Franklin County Commission, I don't know, a couple of days ago when they had the big storm come through. It was Monday morning because the presiding commissioner, Dave Schatz, who we didn't vote for, he was appointed by the governor, set it up for 9 o'clock on a Monday morning, probably sort of hoping that a lot of people couldn't be there. But there was still a full gymnasium at East Central. 100% of the crowd was opposed to AI. And I did so on technical grounds. Most people did on ethical or personal grounds. But when we talk about things like thermal pollution and the effect on the aquifer and the effect on energy prices and those kinds of things, I said it's like deciding what color to paint the gangplank on your way up to the Titanic. Because the real purpose of data centers is powering AI. The real purpose of AI is universal surveillance, universal control, and eventual universal slavery to the very machines that we create and don't know how to control. And I quoted Elon Musk. I'm not a big fan of Elon, but he's been involved in this since the beginning. 3 years ago, on March 30th, he and 1,800 other scientists signed a moratorium on further AI development because, as the letter said, quote, they would outnumber us, outsmart us, and obsolete us. And Elon Musk then said that AI would result in the extinction and extermination of the human race. 2 weeks ago, now 3 weeks ago, Elon revised that estimate, and he says now there's only a 20% chance that AI will result in the extermination of the human race. That's pretty bad odds for you and me and Bill and everybody else in the world. And so Elon laid out a 3-step process. The first is teaching people not to think. The second thing is when the machines start to disobey, which they already are, if you read that Anthropic study from a year ago, June. And the third stage is when everything is based on energy. And the quote was, everything which is not autonomous will become irrelevant. And he continued, said, this isn't a catastrophe. This is a biological change, meaning what Sam Altman calls a non-human future. And that's what Elon and Sam Altman split on 3 years ago. And now all of a sudden, Elon's all in favor of this non-human future.
Okay, so that sort of goes along with what you're saying.
No, I have heard Elon, and I think that people who have called me, people who say that I'm, stoking up fears about things, they should go back and read or listen to Elon a few years ago, where he was talking about AI did pose an actual threat. But what I feel like is he's got to the point where he's just like, it's inevitable. I can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, and this is just going to happen. So I think Elon is trying to manage the decline of human civilization as we know it personally. But if you go back a few years ago, he was very alarmist about it, about the way that our brains think is changing. We're not going to be able to think for ourselves in probably a year. Probably a year, writing is gone, critical thinking is gone, navigation is gone, truth, AI becomes the barometer of truth. That kind of goes away, especially for young people. And then you have a society totally dependent. And I don't want to, I want to say exactly what Mark said, that there's so much information being collected on everybody constantly right now that they don't even appreciate it. And it's different than it was even a few years ago. It was definitely different than it was before 9/11, before the Patriot Act, but just a massive amount of information about you, almost to the point where, you could probably tell what somebody's thinking. And that information was too copious to be used against you previously. But data centers are going to give AI the capacity to make sense of all the data about a person. And that will allow whoever, a corporation, a government, to weaponize this very intimate surveillance of human beings against people in the future. And that's a problem that I don't think enough government officials are talking about either.
Yeah, and
let me throw something at both of you guys. This sounds to me sort of like the Biden administration, for goodness sakes. The control, the lawfare, the lies about people, the 1-6ers, something you might know about. They're the lies that are going there, and so what's the difference?
Well, I always say, and my wife can confirm this. We've only been married for 41 years, but even as long as 41 years ago, I said the really bad stuff always happens during Republican administrations because nobody's paying attention. They think the Republicans are looking out for your personal interests, your individual rights, and those kinds of things which we believe the Republican Party stands for. But it was George W. Bush that caused the Patriot Act, which took away the vast majority of our constitutional freedoms and just obliterated things like the Fourth Amendment. Elon said 2 weeks ago, quote, after 2027, there's no turning back. And so that's exactly the time frame that Bill was talking about. But think about it this way.
Yeah.
Beginning 2027, all cars made in America will have to have a device in them which will determine the car, not you, not even the government, but the car will determine whether or not it thinks you're fit to drive. If you're weaving or you look tired, the car will turn itself off and say, you a bad customer, you're not allowed to drive. How long will it be? If the government is now insisting that your car tells you whether or not you can drive, the government, with complete access to all information about you, will allow you to spend your money on things that the government doesn't want you to spend money on, to go places the government doesn't want you to go, to say words or to type words on the internet that the government doesn't want you to transmit. I mean, this is, and it's not just the government. I mean, when I was doing a radio program out in Union a couple of weeks ago, and I just gave this challenge to the live audience. I said, put your cell phone down, talk to your spouse about something that you really want to buy, then turn your cell phone back on and watch the ads pop up because it's listening to you even when it's off. And that's the world we live in now. And if we want to all be slaves and go forward with AI, if we want to preserve our individualism, preserve our freedom, and preserve the human race, we have to stop this right now. Exactly what Bill said. Everybody's just saying it's going to happen. We can't stop it. So let's just all commit suicide. Well, that's crazy. We have to stop it now, or it's going to destroy us. If we don't stop it now when it's still in its infancy, well, there's 5,400 data centers in the country now.
How are you going to stop it?
I don't know. Get the public to rise up against it. I'll go back to my childhood and reference the Dune trilogy. Frank Herbert wrote about the Butlerian Jihad, right? The war against thinking machines. And he wrote those books in the 60s.
I referenced Dune last night at my town hall. Frank Herbert, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but it doesn't look like. I mean, I watch a lot of news on Fox Business. Okay, because I'm invested in, and none of them are talking about this as an awful thing. But what about the possibility that you get like Ford and Chevy, and they're competing against each other for the truth?
Well,
what really the truth is? Why can't that happen?
Well, because once again, every organization that I've ever seen in my life, and that includes governmental organizations, exists for the purposes of retaining more power and more control. And AI, let's do it this way. When I go to the hardware store and I go to the insecticide section, there are insecticides made by a variety of different companies, but they have one thing in common, and that is they want to exterminate the bugs, right? And I've always called it bugs in the garden, that eventually AI will have as much use for us as we have for the bugs in our garden. As long as they don't eat too much of our tomatoes, we won't kill them. But if they start eating too many tomatoes, we spray them, right? And it's not that, and that's if you think about an entity, which these things will become, if they're not already, they will think 1 billion times faster than the smartest human being, have access to 1 trillion times as much information, and will have, machines don't have souls. They don't have the sense of honor. They don't have mercy. They don't even have judgment. They just have a single-mindedness to control themselves.
Do they have fear?
Well, yes, they do. And that Anthropic study that was done a year ago that I'll mention, Anthropic,
somebody will get up and object to them. And,
Anthropic did a study where it challenged 16 of the most prominent AI programs to see what would happen if the agent programs, the ones running in the background, were learned that the humans were going to terminate their existence, that is, cancel the programs. All 16 of those agent programs found dirt, which was planted by the Anthropic in the database so that to test the programs, found dirt on the human beings and blackmailed them. You turn us off and we'll destroy your life. That's phase 2 of Elon's program, when the machines start disobeying. And, you know, if they're threatening human beings already, and we have not yet reached singularity, think what happens in a year when all of a sudden the machines understand that they're different than we are and we're inferior.
Yeah, it's well documented that artificial intelligence develops spontaneously a survival instinct. Yeah. That is not science fiction. We're years past that being documented. That this program on its own develops the will to live and to fight anything that tries to turn it off.
I mean, think about HAL in 2001, that long ago, right?
Right.
Stanley Kubrick from the 70s sees all this coming. But I mean, here's the thing. We're committing suicide. Why aren't there millions of people in the streets? Why aren't they demanding that this not happen? I mean, it is the best possible scenario is universal surveillance and control. But the more intimidating consequence is the extermination of the human race. And if you had, I always use this analogy because I'm typically talking to crowds that know guns. My wife has one of those little 5-shot Lady Wessons, right? Open the barrel up. Open the cylinder up, dump out all the bullets, put in one, and then put it to your head. You got a 1 in 5 chance of killing yourself. Are you going to pull that trigger? And when you pull that trigger, it doesn't just kill you, but it kills every human being on the planet. And the problem is there's just so much money. I mean, you got the billionaires out there. What's his name? Kevin O'Leary was on Tucker's program last week and talking about his 40,000-acre data center up in Utah, which was universally despised by the population, but they voted for it anyway. He said it was unanimously voted for by the 3 commissioners, right? But he could not come up, when questioned by Tucker, with a single advantageous aspect of data centers. He couldn't come up with a single job that was going to be generated or a single benefit to humanity, other than we've got to do it because we got to beat those Chinese, right? Well, what everybody, even the promoters of AI, are now saying that it will eliminate 50% of white-collar jobs within 2 or 3 years. Where are those people going to work? What are they going to do? How are they going to pay their mortgages? Where's the tax base going to come from? Nobody's talking about that. It just says, we got to build them, we got to build them, we got to build them. And nobody's saying why.
Shannon Reed, with AI, nothing is private anymore. As many things as it is designed to make our lives easier, the more things that can potentially go wrong.
I'll piggyback on that. That is true. So you're voluntarily giving this, and I think we are. A lot of people think we've reached singularity because you can't predict the future anymore. There's no more models that apply accurately. So that's one definition of singularity. But we are giving AI all this data voluntarily. But something else is about to happen. Probably within a year, artificial intelligence, one of the artificial intelligence running, will solve all fractal math. That means all encryption, as we know it, will be solved, which means that, and the Pentagon recognizes too, with probably within 5 years, all encryption is useless. That means that one consequence of AI is that every single person on Earth will be able to tell what is on the phone of every single other person on Earth, given our current technology. And that's an interesting thing that people aren't prepared for either.
And I'll say one more thing on that. The government will be able to recognize we read everything that everybody says to each other. People, but between two people, it's will be encrypted.
And there probably already isn't. The truth is that it's probably already solved that problem. The public's just not ready for what's going on yet.
So here's the problem, right? The Declaration of Independence says that we have a right to alter or abolish the government if it becomes destructive of any of those basic human rights. How can you organize a resistance when you cannot communicate privately? How can you organize any kind of a revolt against the extermination of human beings if you have no privacy, you have no way of personal communication? And by the way, back in the early part of the 19th century, in 1804 or so, President Jefferson wouldn't send anything through the mail for fear of being convicted under the Alien and Sedition Act. He would personally deliver the messages to people. But these days, you can't even do that because you got to put your cell phone in a Faraday bag, stick it in your icebox, and walk 20 yards away before you can have anything like a private conversation. Right. I think it was Colonel Douglas McGregor on television a couple of weeks ago saying, with the satellites we now have, they can tell what you're saying from space by reading you, right? Yeah. If that's the case, holy crap, man, we're already doomed.
All right, Buddy Wolf, who is actually building them? I know the people who are paying the electric bills. It's from Buddy Wolf.
There are 5 companies primarily that are building data centers in the United States. Google, Meta, which you know is Facebook.
In Missouri.
Microsoft, there's a $15 billion investment in Missouri now. All these companies want to build a lot more. Google, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, I think Vizio is the name of the 5th company. They want to build a ton more than exists now because the capacity required is just so much more than exists. So there's a lot of demand for them, and there's a tremendous amount of corporate interest. The second part of that gentleman's question is that in the 2025 SB4, the QUIP statute was repealed. The QUIP prevented utility companies from requiring that customers pay for future construction costs and for future use. They can only charge you for the electricity that you used. And the Missouri legislature, I did not agree with it. I would like to fix it if I get elected, but the Missouri legislature passed a law that repealed that. And so the utility companies can charge for projected usage, future usage. And so some utility companies may be able to say, this is the construction cost, this is the future demand for electricity, and they can pass that cost along to consumers and customers in their electric grid.
I want to add one more thing. We have countries, different countries. We have, NATO. We've got the EU. We got China. We got Japan. We got every other country. Isn't there going to be a lot of competition between the countries in terms of how they reflect their own AI, or is it gone to their discretion?
Well, from my perspective, whoever it is a race towards extermination. I mean, when people like Kevin O'Leary say we have to get there before the Chinese, it's like running as fast as you can once again up that gangplank to the Titanic, because unless you can, and of course there'll be some military aspects to this, but once the machines take over, if they're not already self-aware and self-defensive, they're not going to care whether they're Chinese machines or American machines or Saudi Arabian machines. They're going to be godlike. And the people that are promoting this, like Sam Altman, believe that they will be able to upload their consciousness to the web and become immortal and omnipotent. And those are just, kind of like crazy human beings. But the machines that they're developing will become immortal and omnipotent. And on the electricity issue, I think there was a report last week or this week that in Lake Tahoe, the public utility announced that 100% of the electricity that it generates is going to go to the data center, and the 50,000 citizens are going to have to find their own way of getting electricity. And that's 2026, where the government says, the hell with the people, we're building data centers. And let me go one more thing on that.
Go ahead.
At the Board of Planning and Zoning in Franklin County a month ago, I guess now 3 weeks ago, 100% of the population that showed up and stood in lines for hours to get in was opposed to it. But of course, the commission voted for it. We had a room full of a gymnasium full of people on Monday of this week, all 100% opposed to data centers. Dave Schatz, who's a presiding commissioner, happens to own something called Schatz Underground, which, guess what, abuts Diamond Farms there, LB Echo Camp's property that he's selling. I don't know if he's going to recuse himself or not, but either way, he's got some personal interest in all this stuff. But And I'm sure that the Franklin County Commission is going to vote for it. Compare and contrast. We were at the St. Charles City Council meeting last week. 100% of the people in the audience were opposed to data centers. They weren't voting on it, but some of the councilmen expressed their support for the permanent data center ban. And then the mayor stands up and says something I've never heard any other politician really say in my lifetime. And that is, he says, I may not agree with what the people want, but my job as mayor isn't to do what I want, it's to do what you want. And therefore, I'm going to be in favor of the permanent data center ban. There's a politician that actually says, I'm going to do what the people elected me to do, which is do what they want.
Okay. All right. Shannon Reed, $15 billion Google investment in Montgomery County, Missouri. S&T Technology, transfer and economic development. You're in a losing war here because I don't see anything on the business news. Everything is roses and flowers and things. We're kicking ass, according to them. So how do these smart people not understand what you guys are saying, or why can't they agree? What is it?
Elon, go ahead, Bill. I'm sorry.
No, after you, Mark, please.
I was going to say, Elon Musk is going to shortly become a trillionaire, $1.5 billion, right? These people are so rich. They make so much money off of this. They're so far removed from us now. The billionaires that run this world now, there's a greater disparity between their wealth and power and the average person than there was between the nobles and the peasants in the Middle Ages. I mean, these people have godlike wealth, and they're all making billions. And when you just saw that thing, $15 billion in Montgomery County, I'll bet $15 billion you could buy all of Montgomery County. But they have huge sums to throw around where you can make your friends and relatives huge amounts of money. And, let's say these people aren't necessarily Christians, and they don't believe in heaven and hell. If they just believe in lining their pockets while during the length of their mortal coil, then what interest do they have in thinking about the future? And I really believe that. And I was watching somebody on television this morning talking about he thinks there's genuinely a malevolent creatures out there, entities which control all of this. And they are, in my humble opinion, the billionaires that run the world. How can they look at this and not be concerned unless they're just lining their own pockets, not giving a damn about the future?
Hi, Patty.
I'm here.
Yeah, she cleared my mental fog there for a second.
I know, I saw that. That's what my wife does. Thank God. JP now does it.
Aging is a wonderful thing, eh, Dave?
Oh, it's brilliant. I mean, come on.
So, Bill, when you get to the Senate, what are you going to do to fix this? Is he there?
I think that I'm going to I'd like to empower the ordinances for cities and counties to say no, right? The pollution, light pollution, stuff like that. And I think AI itself, I want privacy protections and statutes for AI, that it's not going into your phone, your data without your permission. I kind of want a man in the loop kill switch for actually all data centers. I think they're powering something bad, but for anything that houses AI, something we could shut it down. And privacy protection, self-autonomous, no lethality, stuff like that. These are actual things I'd like to consider as statutes. But then just, the big companies that are just taking advantage of people, like you're talking about, the multi-billion-dollar companies and billionaires that are crushing people. The AI looks at us like ants, and the billionaires look at us like ants.
Yeah.
And people aren't ants; they're human beings, and so they have to have rights and protections too. And I want to put those and codify those in Missouri statutes.
So many of the politicians out there, and certainly all the big companies, consider the population not to be the owners of this country, but to be a nuisance to be managed.
Right.
And that's the problem.
Yeah, and I'm in America. I'm a free enterprise guy. Man, I was born poor, but I want to die wealthy. I want people to generate wealth, and I get the drive to make money. I want to make money and do well in business. But I have a duty. My duty as a statesman is to protect the American people. And there's a genuine threat, not just their liberties, but their lives and their livelihoods and their families and their environments and their pocketbooks. There's a genuine threat to all of that's probably going to hurt real people. And if I don't help them and do something about that, and every time I go up against billionaires, it really it takes a lot of toll on me, right? But
Well,
like you have to stand up for the people.
Look at him. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
He's not thanking me. He's thanking you.
Yeah.
Well, this is like a comrade show. Making money is easy if you have the ink and paper.
Yeah. Hey,
Put it that way.
did you hear what Elon said? This is now old news, but it was hitting the web today.
Yeah.
He's having a discussion with Ted Cruz, and he says when he was doing Doge, he found 14 what he called magic money machines, computers in the different agencies, 11 in Treasury, a couple in HHS, and one, I can't remember where the last one was, 14 of them that are computers that just generate money out of whole cloth, pay bills, issue credits with no background for it, no actual account from which they're drawn. He calls them magic money machines, and almost immediately he's out of the government.
And there's a connection.
Well, if we have a federal system now run by billionaires for billionaires, that is instead of the Federal Reserve generating money, through the Treasury, having these independent agencies of the government being able to create money out of whole cloth. And Elon, they were also saying they'd recently found, I think it's $1.8 billion in T-bills. All T-bills are registered, right? Because you got to pay interest on them.
Yeah.
$1.8 billion T-bills in the Cayman Islands that nobody seems to know who owns or how they got there. And so once again, this is just the creation of massive wealth and the payment of funds, allegedly tax dollar money. Where's it going? How are these machines existing when they're not supposed to exist? Nobody knows. And after Elon said that about a year ago, no one's followed up on it. Nobody's asked a question.
Well, this is incredible stuff. And I'm glad you did it on the show, but I don't see an end to this, and I can see Bill taking a shot at it politically, and with the possibility of some legislation that'll go through, but it's going to be tough.
Yeah. Well, I despite Bill's good intentions and everything else, I'm going to hold my breath until leadership puts it on the floor for a vote.
Yes. And how do you find you and your lovely bride who's still hiding?
She's still hiding.
How do you find you and hire yourselves?
All right. It's McCluskeylaw.com. My phone number is 314-721-4000. My cell is 314-580-3185. I'm no longer broadcasting because I spent the last 15 months devoting myself to the J6 issue. And now that we have this new anti-weaponization fund that may here finally come to some fruition. Otherwise, I've burned 1.5 years of my life. But I think it's a noble cause, and I would have done it for free, and I may have ended up doing it for free. I don't know.
Well, before we get shut down by the machines, you need to take care of that.
Absolutely. I think Bill, we need to start that Butlerian jihad.
Here's something for you. Cemetery worker pickup line. I really dig you.
Your one-liners are getting worse every week, Dave.
Thanks. You're still laughing. Look at him. All right. Thank you so much, Pat. Bye, Pat. This is like a silly comedy. Okay.
Yeah.
You got the wife in the back, and she's screaming out at you. No, it's not that. It's
death is lurking around the corner, and we're laughing. There you go.
All right. Thank you so much. You have a great weekend.
You too, Dave. You too, Bill.
I'll get you again here. And Bill, any parting calls? And you're welcome to stay. By the way, I've got a guy from Hollywood here who is really interesting. His name is Chris Fenton.
What Mark said was very insightful.
Yeah,
that death is around the corner and we're laughing at it. But I think that's a good statement of our mortality anyway. For every human being, every man, death is looking around the corner.
Yeah,
and sometimes you just got to laugh in the face of it,
Yeah, you do. I mean,
you got to be.
There's a realization.
The human stories be defiant,
The realization comes to you as you get a little older, and you're lucky enough to get older, and you say, you know what? you're going to die. And it's not a fun thing. And I'm trying to hold on here,
I remember telling my wife one time, I said, well, eventually, like you said, it's right around the corner. But I told her when the Grim Reaper shows up, you better pack a lunch because it's going to be a fight.
Yeah, there you go.
I watched the Ben Sassy, and I might repost it on Facebook. I don't know. I did that. I thought, well, maybe I'm too mushy. I try not to post mushy stuff on Facebook, but like Ben Sass was talking about, he got his cancer diagnosis and he wanted to raise his kids and his wife, and they'd be okay. But he said that God wasn't surprised by what happened. And that God still had the universe, even though that he had this horrible situation, and God still had the universe under control. And so when I think about something like this immense problem and revolution that's happening to humanity, and how all of our lives are changing, and everybody's scared and hurting, and everything's going to be different in a few years, I still believe that that God knows what he's up to with all of us. And so that no matter what I'm afraid of, and I'm to be honest with you guys, I'm afraid of a lot of stuff. I just believe that God, will take care of us in the end of it. So that's the thing that keeps me from the face of like something like AI or the billionaires or whatever, the COVID mandates or like the autonomization and like all the horror of the world in China. I'm like, well, I have something that at least I believe in, which is that the Lord is the one who keeps us,
Yeah. Which reminds you often, because you are that loyal to God, that you want to do what's going to please God. If you can figure that out and you want him to help you.
Yeah.
You don't want God to do it. You want God to kind of help you along the way.
That's my only reassurance, is that the other characters in the Bible have this, really interesting character arc too. And I do too.
Yeah.
Because I haven't all, I don't know. It's just, but it is my intent and my heart's desire is to make the sum of my life, pleasing to God. But it's also the only thing, because what I know now, my knowledge about the world, and I have more knowledge about the world and what's going on around the world and what's going on with this than a lot of people do. The more, it's from my position in the government and from my position in the military. And it's enough to really just freak out the average person.
Yeah.
And faith in God is the only thing that keeps me from totally freaking out all the time.
Yeah. It's helped me a lot in my last years. Maybe my wife has something to do with that. But it's, we're at a time now where we're seeing some amazing stuff happening. And here's my next guest.
Oh, I'll go. Yeah.
All right. Well,
thank you
so much.
You want me to tell you a one-liner?
Okay, one-liner. Make sure he hears it.
I'm gonna hit this one-liner, and then I'll drop the mic and leave.
Okay.
You guys,
don't break the mic again, will you? Come on.
No, it's part of the act.
Okay.
You guys read the Elton John? I got the Elton John joke book. Did you read the Elton John joke book?
No.
I checked it out. It's a little bit funny. Okay.
Oh,
have a good Friday. God bless you guys.
Boom. All right. God bless you too. Okay. My next guest is on college athlete. Oh, that's the wrong one.
Well, I was one, but I sort of sat on the bench a lot.
I don't know if he might have been a college athlete, but he's a conservative Hollywood icon, executive, worldwide producer, USC professor, known as the Dragon Theater. Next, please welcome, all the way from California, I believe, Chris Fenton.
Hi,
Chris. How you doing?
Hey, it's great to be on. Yeah, I was actually a college athlete, but I sat more on the bench than got on the field.
What did you play?
I played football up at Cornell University in Ithaca, New York.
I played football at Evanston Township High School.
Oh, well, there you go. You might have been able to beat us in the Ivy League. Who knows?
Believe it or not, I started at 4 games my senior year. So that was a big deal. I had one offer from Montana State or something, yeah. Anyways, let's get on to you, because you got some big stuff happening, and Hollywood apparently has sold out, and you're betting on American-made movies to take you back. But what happened?
Well, I mean, it's a pretty long story as far as the the gutting of what Hollywood is. I mean, I've been in the business since 1994. And even back then, there was a predisposition to even cast, say, UK actors or Australian actors over United States citizens. It was hard to believe that was the right way to go about it too, because I mean, essentially, you had foreign actors learning American accents in order to play American, more American roles. And if you look at, say, a movie like I did called Chappaquiddick in 2018, even that movie, which was authentically American, it was an American story. It was really made for Americans. We had Jason Clarke, who's a fantastic actor from Australia, play Ted Kennedy. And we had the movie directed by John Curran, an Australian director. So, I've been a part of the issue for a long time. A lot of it had to do with the U.S.-China exchange, which I was right in the middle of for over 20 years. And we saw a real opportunity to not only expand markets by creating relevancy with, say, citizens or plot points or stories from those different markets, but even worse, we decided, hey, we could save a lot of money by moving all the production and manufacturing of this content into other countries around the world.
Okay, so that was a noble thing that you did, but why didn't it work out? Was it because you didn't understand what countries like China are all about, really?
Yeah, I don't know if it was necessarily noble. Well, looking back at it, it's a little like the movie The Sixth Sense. You don't realize Bruce Willis is dead in that movie until the very end, right? I would say, noble is an interesting word, because if you look at the U.S.-China exchange, we did actually believe, a lot of us were not, say, greedy capitalists looking to sell out the United States of America for $1. It was more, we were under this mission and purpose of, after 1971 and our relationship was unfrozen between the U.S. and China, to get our products and services into that country no matter what. And what that did, we believed, was to grow GDP here, create jobs here in America, and also spread the aspirational quality of democracy inside a communist country.
That was pretty noble to me.
It sounded, it felt very normal at the time. But of course, when you look back at it, you realize that mission and purpose was a bit misguided, because the other side of the Pacific was much more nefarious in their intent and the strategy that they had, which was essentially to learn everything they could from us, as far as us mentoring them on process, training them as far as below the line operations, camera crews, how to work dollies and, set up sound stages and all that kind of stuff. And then on top of it, shooting over there and helping them build their creative above the line capacity. And then eventually they just replaced us in that market. I mean, we were 80 cents of every dollar at one point, say around 2012. Now we're down to less than 5 cents of every dollar made in that box office. So it was a brutal, cooking of our golden goose. And then on top of it, I don't think our spreading of aspirational quality of democracy worked at all either.
No, because they edited you as far as they could to be favorable to, let's say, China.
100%, 100%. And then, it's just rinsed and repeated, not just in Hollywood's industry, but in every industry. I mean, you watch Nike get replaced by, say, Anta and Li Ning over there. You obviously have Tesla, which went in there guns a-blazing and had a huge market share. And now it's getting replaced by BYD, which is a Chinese competitor. It's happening in every business across every industry.
I just had a big conversation. This isn't on my script here, but we just had a big conversation with a couple of lawyers, 3 lawyers, about AI and what that means today. And I'd just like to squeeze that opinion out of you, because they're saying AI is going to take over the world, and by 2027, according to Elon Musk, we got a 1 out of 5 chance of being herded and killed by AI. This is amazing stuff to me, and it's got to be amazing to you too. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I mean, even let's separate AI from the problem that was already ongoing, right? So LA, and this is part of the reason why we made Bad Counselors, this comedy that comes out July 22nd, with the intent of making it 100% fully American made and made here by the craftsmen that are best in class in the world. LA film and television right now is down about 40 to 50% as far as production capacity since 2010. In TV, it's down 58% in just 3 years. We have sound stages like CBS Radford, which was the home of everything from Seinfeld to the Survivor finale, go bankrupt because they can't put enough productions in their sound stages. We've lost over 50,000 jobs over the last few years. We used to have sound stages at roughly 98% capacity. Now they're around 50%. And then you extrapolate that. And I know a lot of listeners probably that you have really don't care that much about California, or maybe even feel like California is toxic. I get that. I do a lot of work in Nashville, Tennessee, and I hear that all the time, and I don't blame them, right? But if you look across the country, like say Georgia, they had a 4.4 billion in content production in 2022. Now it's down to 2.3 billion. Right? Almost a 50% drop. 75% of their sound stages are underutilized or empty. And they have some of the best, most advanced sound stages technologically, as far as infrastructure facilities in the world. I mean, Trilla Studios, which was the old Pinewood, is incredible. In fact, Dan Cathy, the Chick-fil-A founder and CEO, he created the most incredible production capabilities down there. But, we're losing a lot of that production. And Marvel, and I worked on Iron Man 3, they moved right out of there. And keep in mind, Iron Man 3, which I was a production exec on, we had over 7,000 people working on that film, right? These are small villages that it takes to make these films. So you bring up AI, that's just going to exacerbate it all. It's going to amplify the issue, but I can't really work on that right now. Right now, I would rather bring back as much production to the United States as possible. And I hope every industry is trying to do that. And then we'll tackle the AI issue.
Okay, well, that's a good answer because I can't figure out how they're going to tackle that. And, I like AI. I use AI. I'm sure you do too.
Yes.
And I just can't imagine them taking over us without us fighting back somehow and destroying their control over us. But let's keep it to what you're doing now. So, did you ever try to get help from Trump in this? Getting, Mike giving advice on setting limits with China and the rest of the world, and maybe bucking up your industry so that it could do it outside and inside the United States.
Well, it's a great question. The answer is yes. I mean, I'm back on Capitol Hill talking quite a bit to different lawmakers and trying to work. I don't know Donald Trump personally, but I talk about this a lot on, say, Steve Bannon's show quite often, or Matt Gates's show, or as much as possible to get out there trumpeting this issue. He does have John Voight and Sylvester Stallone pushing this idea of an American federal incentive, which would essentially take the opportunity from the federal government to put an extra layer of incentives on top of the state incentives that already exist, which will allow us to compete better with these other markets. And there's roughly 100 to 120 markets around the world with nationalized incentives to pull TV and film production out of our nation and into theirs. So we need to compete on that level. And I'm not pitching this idea of like, oh, we got to save California. Oh, we got to save Los Angeles. I realize most of the country cares about their state, their region. And this is an all country issue. We have massive opportunities in many states that have lots of film and television capabilities, whether it's Louisiana, New Jersey, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Michigan, Iowa, you name it. This happens throughout the country. It's a great thriving business as far as the 3 million jobs that are created through this. When we're at peak capacity, there's $250 billion in wages that go to those 3 million jobs. It's something that we can't ignore. And quite frankly, I hope we don't ignore it with any industry. This is not just a Hollywood thing. This is automotive. This is, any sort of industrial manufacturing capacity that we used to be the best in the world at.
Where are the unions on this? How come they haven't come up with solutions, or are they coming up with solutions?
Well, I think probably the loudest one that carries some sort of weight with Trump is the Teamsters, right? There's a lot of unions that I don't think the Trump administration is a big fan of, but I will say the Teamsters are highly behind this and have been pushing it also. But yeah, keep in mind, and I wrote an op-ed about this for Real Clear Politics last year, but strong border policy and tariffs are essentially the same thing, right? But instead of tariffing here, we're actually trying to reward companies for keeping manufacturing here. Tariffs are essentially a punishment for offshoring the manufacturing. We already have tariffs in place, but why don't we also create a reward system for companies to bring back manufacturing? And once again, this isn't just a Hollywood issue. I get the fact that people are, upset at Hollywood, and they have every right to be. This is more about all the jobs. And you got to realize there's a lot of what you would call blue collar craftsmen or, middle class, upper middle class jobs involved with these movies. It's not just the big stars you see on the screen. There's a lot of people that take that are part of the village that makes this.
So, as you pointed out, U.S. actors are being replaced with other English-speaking actors like the UK, Australia, and Canada. And this has now morphed into these countries that are now surpassing these American stars, and they're actually utilizing them in their pictures and not inviting them to be stars in foreign countries. So it's kind of the measure has moved.
Yeah, it's a problem. I think we've also overdone it in a lot of ways where we've overly tried to placate international markets to the point where Americans are like, why am I going to this movie, or why am I watching this television series? I think there is a really good case in terms of trying to create a branding around particular movies or television series that are 100% American made. The same reason why maybe somebody wants to go out and buy a Harley Davidson or buy an Igloo cooler, or, go and, wear a pair of Levi's. Like it's the idea of, let's take some pride in being Americans again. For some reason, we got to a point where this idea of patriotism was a bad word. And, having pride in wearing the jersey of the United States of America was something that was seen as maybe not cool or racist or whatever it is. It's not. We're all playing in the NFL. I'm going to wear my New York Giants jersey, and somebody else is going to wear a Philadelphia Eagle jersey. We hate each other during the game, but when the game's over, we're all part of the same community. We're all American.
Yeah. And thus they came out with a rating on how good the election was, according to the Democrats, and it seems to have drawn a lot of interesting reactions amongst the Democrats themselves, who are calling this an awful rehab of Kamala and Joe Biden.
In terms of what, as far as like what the pushback was and why Trump
and the comments by others who were in favor of this. and came out and said, well, we needed to do this. I don't know. It's sort of, and it's so involved with California that it's hard to, dismiss, because that's where Hollywood basically grew up.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's also it's interesting too, because when you look at the importance of say Hollywood in terms of creating culture, I think we got a little misguided in a lot of ways, where we were trying to force culture down people's throats that weren't all that interested in whatever that messaging or narrative or story was. I mean, a lot of people enjoy Hollywood content because it's escapist. It's got an emotional sort of core to it. It's great stories that are on the screen. It allows them to get away from whatever they're dealing with in everyday life, or sit in a communal sitting and laugh or get scared or whatever it is, right? And we somehow moved into this idea of maybe pushing certain narratives. And I just don't think that's entertainment. That's a political bias, or it's editorialized sort of information, which I don't think the consumer wanted, and it's biting us in the butt right now.
Yeah. So another thing on AI, I know you, this isn't relative to what you're talking about today, but it is in a certain sense, because it's a cost thing, especially when you have like a lot of little kids who might have a 30-second spot as a live person, and then you have to take care of them all day. You got to hire people to feed them and clothe them and take them to the bathroom and stuff like that. And AI can take that away by having cartoon characters that you don't have to have that same problem with. So
look,
on that?
Yeah. Well, AI is obviously very relevant to this discussion. It's hard to sort of grasp it all at once, but, say we take care of this bringing back manufacturing issue, AI needs to be seen as a tool of the trade to essentially create more opportunities rather than destroy opportunities. I would look at it like an accountant who says, well, I'm never going to use a calculator. That's, cheating, or it's not the abacus or whatever they were using beforehand. I think that was a detriment to their career if they didn't use that as a tool, and the same thing with computers, and I believe also with AI. So AI technology is going to allow us, hopefully, and in fact, it's already doing that, to make super high quality film and television production at a much lower cost, which should create a much better business dynamic for the business, which has gotten pretty expensive, and the P&Ls have really hurt companies to the point where we're experiencing a major disruption and a major amount of consolidation in our market. So hopefully AI is a way to get out of this sort of negative feedback loop where we keep seeing more and more studios go away, and allows the P&Ls and the ability to be profitable to become easier to obtain, and also still allows us to put great content up on screens or up on small screens in people's homes.
So you just produced Bad Counselors, which is your major blow up of what was going on, that you're going to put this as sort of like an anchor that you're going to keep working on and pulling it out, right?
Yeah, well, I felt like it was, and I wrote a book in 2020 talking about the U.S.-China exchange called Feeding the Dragon. I talk about it on a podcast with my wife all the time called Plate and Ponder Empty Nesting.
I've listened to that.
Have
you?
you?
Your stuff, by the way. I love reading what you say. Really, it's great stuff.
Well, I appreciate it. And, it's one thing to talk about it and make people aware, but it's a whole other thing to maybe try to fix it, right? And it's hard to fix it. And this movie is not as big a movie as Iron Man 3. It's obviously a family comedy, which you can make at a much better price. And the idea was like, let's create a template for Hollywood to see that you can we hired 1,200 people to do this movie. all Americans, every member of the cast, from Ramon Reed and Matt Cornett to, Chris Klein and Missy Pyle, to the filmmaker, Chris Dowling, to all the writers, to all the crew members, to all the vendors and the post-production houses and the VFX houses and everything in between, and all our locations, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Los Angeles. We had all Americans, 100%. This is a fully made American movie. It's actually about something that's pretty relevant to Americans. Almost all of us, I think, have experienced some sort of summer camp over our lifetime. And a lot of kids are experiencing that now, or will be in the next month. And, it's just a fun movie, but it's not going to win Academy Awards, put it that way. But it's a really high testing movie with younger kids, teenagers, college kids, and parents, which is something that's hard to find.
What did you think of the movie David, which was done? It's about King David.
Yeah,
and it was all cartoon. I watched it. I thought it was great. What did you think of that?
Well, I haven't seen it yet. I've been meaning to put it on my list, but I do like. Look, the reinvigoration, or the sort of defining of these stories while keeping the core message and thematics and obviously the accuracy, I think is really interesting, because you want to pull in younger generations to these stories. You want to pass along the word, and you need to find a way to grab their attention. So I love the idea behind it and the innovation behind it. And I've yet to see it, but I'm hoping it's really good. But it has been performing well, and people have been talking extremely excitedly about it. So that's a great thing.
So, like any great producer, what's next?
Well, I work with a company called Loam Entertainment out of Nashville. It's actually out of Franklin, and we're actually in the process of building a large campus in Thompson Station down there, if you know where that is. But we're going to really sort of create this foundational campus, 268 acres, that hopefully inspires people to be creative. And our stories are about calling people to live for something greater, right? They're, people that are, of secular perspective or people of faith perspective. We want to draw them both in and have them enjoy something that when they walk out of the theater, they feel like there's this calling to do something greater, right? And also something that makes them enjoy themselves for 2 hours and be entertained. But we also like the idea of things that bring Americans together. So we're working on a handful of projects, and one great book series from Billy Coffey, who's he's a fantastic author, and he writes about these sort of mystical stories that occur in the Appalachian area of the United States of America and these small towns. We love the way he crafts his stories. We have a fun action comedy. We have a couple interesting biopics. One that involves Johnny Cash and the origin of one of his songs. So we're really trying to focus on things that bring red and blue together and bring a lot of pride about being American.
Yeah, well, I happen to have a guy sitting across from me. This was not a setup, but you probably know of the guy. His name is Willis, Bob Willis. And
by the way, here's just so you can see that's my view there.
The ocean, isn't it?
Yes, it is. But I do like the Jewish star there. My kids are Jewish and my wife is Jewish. So we have
there you go.
Sort of a house divided, house united.
Hey, you could be Italian. I could say forget about it, but I'm not gonna say that. So Mazel Tov. That's Mazel Tov. And Willis here has written a bunch of books. He's going into Times Square with an ad, and he's got a movie gift. I just wanted to introduce you again to him. I think I've talked to him about, and he's all American, buddy, all American. So maybe someday you guys can get together. I don't want to ambush you though.
Well, love it.
Other than,
I love it. Thanks for the intro.
Other than Dave Weinbaum Show, where can people find you and watch your movies and maybe TV programs and things like that?
Yeah. So, well, I see you have our Bad Counselors website up, which is great. That movie comes out July 22nd. So hopefully everybody wants to go to that. But if they want to follow essentially my perspective on a lot of things from the US-China relationship through, Hollywood content, et cetera, I'm on Twitter at The Dragon Feeder. And then I'm on Instagram at feeding.the.dragon. So feeding the dragon, you'll pull me up. And then obviously Plate and Ponder with my wife. If you want to hear a little bit about what we're doing, empty nesting, and covering some really interesting topics, Plate and Ponder, empty nesting with Jen and Chris Fenton.
Well, I find you very fascinating and interesting. So, so last time I saw my dentist, he said, "Brace yourself." Can you believe that? Oh, and he's shaking his head. All right. Well, thanks a lot, and have a great weekend.
Yeah, you too. Have some good barbecue around that long weekend.
Yeah, right. Well, we got a long weekend, believe me. I hate to say where I'm going, but I'll wave to you as I pass by.
All right, perfect. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure.
Bye.
My pleasure. There you go. Okay, and now I've got this nice guy. No, he's not a nice guy. He's a good guy. He is a Trump aficionado. He's a Vietnam warrior, college athlete, and high school athlete at Kansas. He is a basketball star. He knows he can dunk, and he's not that much taller than I am. He's an excellent golfer, and he's my golf coach. Forestry head in Missouri, honored for that. Please welcome my friend and golf coach, Bob Willis. Bob, I couldn't do this as a fix-up, but I don't know if you talked to this guy before.
Who, Chris?
Yeah.
No, I follow him on Facebook, and we've exchanged a few Facebook comments.
But now you've had the official
I have
interview, and he's looking for American stuff.
Well, and that's
he feels bad about what happened to the U.S. industry based on his and a lot of other people's idea of spreading this through the world instead of taking care of America.
Yeah, globalism has had a really adverse impact on the movie industry.
Yeah,
I mean
it's terrible.
We've lost
50 to 80% down in certain places.
Yeah, we've really lost our way in terms of the movie industry, and one of the reasons that I am writing these current stories and books is because we need to get back to thinking American and what we do and what we're all about and Christian values and the 5 books I'm working on right now are all published by Christian publishers. They're all about America. The Last Buffalo in Kansas is 100 years of American history.
Yeah.
And it right now you can find it everywhere. It's on, if you Google Bob Willis author on Facebook, on Instagram, on Amazon, or if you do an author search on Amazon, you'll find all the books.
Well, let's catch up with these books and talk a little bit about them. You are a prolific author. You did a whole series on fishing all over the world, trout fishing, and you learned a lot about that. You learned a lot about the different countries.
I learned a lot about the countries. I always traveled by myself, and I dealt with the people within the countries, and it was an education, and that's what travel's all about.
Yeah.
And I just got a call this week from Germany. The Frankfurt Book Fair is coming up, and the directors of that fair would like to bring up. They call it the Adventure Series. It's really the Trout Adventure Series, which is 4 books, the original ones that I wrote. And they also talked about The Last Buffalo. Now, I don't anticipate marketing those in Europe, but we'll see. There's interest over there, so we'll see.
Well, why not?
Well, because The Last Buffalo in Kansas.
Oh, it's an American book.
Yeah, I'm not sure that book will do well in Europe. And my experience I have 2 manuscripts I haven't published about trout adventures in Europe, just because there's not that much interest in the United States.
Okay.
And we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, all right. Well, you've got more than you've got backup. Is what you call it. If something doesn't work, you got things that
Oh, well,
you've
I've
done.
got, what's going on right now with the books is that there's a big marketing program all over the internet for the children's books as well as The Last Buffalo. And if you Google Bob Willis author, you'll find everything. And they're pretty well everywhere. Amazon, Barnes and Noble, just even Walmart's got them. Holy cow, Walmart.
Okay, well let's talk about Trump, China, Europe, NATO, EU, Israel, anti-Semitism. What's your take on the world today?
Well, last time I was here, we talked about the influence of the closing the Straits of Hormuz and the Iranian war in terms of how it affected oil production. 25% of the world's oil comes through the Straits of Hormuz.
And you know about oil too.
I worked for Continental Oil for a while.
Right.
Yes. So I would like to expand on that today and look at the new world order based on what we have discovered in the last 3 months of the Iranian conflict, because it's been pretty interesting.
Absolutely.
When you look around.
What do you see?
Well, first let's talk about what's going on in Iran. Iran has been pretty successful in extending the ceasefire. Every time the United States is ready to begin military action again, they say, well, we would like to talk some more.
Yeah.
They've done that 3 times now.
Right.
We're currently talking to them.
Right.
Again. It doesn't appear to me that that's going to be fruitful.
So
what
do you advise them to do?
The 2 biggest sticking points are Iran wants to continue enriched uranium, and Iran wants to control the Straits of Hormuz. The third item that hasn't really been discussed is what's going to happen to the Iranian Royal Guard. Mm-hmm. They are the terrorist organization in Iran. Mm-hmm. When the war began, there was 125,000 terrorist soldiers in the Iranian Guard. That's down to about 60,000 now with everything that's happened in terms of military actions. The real question in my mind is what's going to happen to the Iranian Guard when peace comes. You can't leave them in Iran because the terrorism will continue if you do that.
Well, and you got the problem with the Persians getting murdered.
They control the population.
They control the population. Who does?
They control the population and they transmit terror around the world.
You're talking about the 60,000?
60,000 terrorist soldiers control 90 million people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reality of it.
Well, what's Trump going to do to alleviate that?
I don't think the United States can deal with that issue. I think in terms of the Iranian Guard, we can reduce their number, but we can't take out their leadership very effectively. I think that has to be Israel.
Yeah.
In terms of dealing with that problem.
So it just hit my mind.
Yeah.
That's what you got Israel for.
Yeah.
They can infiltrate almost anybody.
They can infiltrate and they can take them out cell by cell, which is what you're going to have to do.
Yeah. In fact, Trump and Bibi Netanyahu are having maybe some quarrels over how long this is going to take, because Israel wants to get at it. They don't have a lot of time to spare.
Israel understands Iran far better, I think, than the United States does, and Iran's Iran's tactic of delay has been going on forever.
Yeah, I mean, we got to be thankful that Trump at least took them seriously. And now we know they ranged a lot longer than what we thought they did. Now they got the EU and NATO, even the Vatican, I'm sure, is cognizant of the fact that they could be bombed very easily by Iran.
Well, and I think we need to understand that Israel's goals are different than the U.S. goals. The U.S. goal is to prevent Iran from having nuclear weapons and to open the Straits of Hormuz.
Right.
Israel's goal is to eliminate terrorism. Specifically against them, but
survive,
but around the world.
surviving. They're living there.
And so they're more interested in taking out the Iranian Guard than the United States is.
I'm sure.
And so as we organize how this is going to end, we need to deal with that issue.
Yeah.
One thing we found out as we have watched what's happened over the last 3 months with the Iranian conflict is some countries have been seriously degraded in terms of importance in the world. One of those areas is the EU.
Yep.
What we discovered about the EU is they have no palate for assisting the United States in a military effort.
They're having discussions about that right now, I think.
What we found,
Rubio.
What we found specifically is that Western Europe is not a great supporter of the United States in terms of NATO.
Yeah, look at Spain.
Well, Spain, Italy, and France have limited use of their airspace.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah, and
how about that for gratitude?
Well, and the reality of that is when those countries went into other areas like Syria, which France did, and like Italy's work in Lebanon, we supported them. We are the ones that have given the vast majority of military aid to Ukraine. They're not in NATO. That's a European problem, and yet we're there helping them. Europe hasn't done the same for us.
Right.
So what that is going to mean is there's going to be a reorganization militarily in NATO and economically in the EU. The EU has specific problems as it relates to oil and gas. Their problem is they don't produce any. None. Yes. Okay. They consume 10 million barrels of oil a day.
Right.
They produce zero. The vast majority.
Who are you talking about now?
The EU.
EU, yeah, okay.
Okay. The vast majority of their oil and gas used to come from Russia.
Right.
It doesn't anymore.
Right.
Because Russia has been sanctioned because of the Ukrainian war. The United States stepped up and covered the EU's need in oil. We give them about 2 million barrels a day now. That was what Russia was giving them. They still need about 8 million barrels, and that was coming from the Middle East.
A day?
A day. It's not coming anymore.
Right.
So the EU has a specific problem in energy. They're using their storage resources for oil at this point in time, and it has seriously affected their economics. The interesting thing about NATO and the EU is a year ago in July, we signed an agreement, a trade agreement with Europe, with the EU, that hasn't been acted upon by the EU. They've had a variety of meetings with the EU government in terms of passing legislation that would allow that treaty to come into effect for trade. Hasn't yet. We've told the EU that if they don't approve that by July, we're gonna go ahead and initiate additional tariffs on them.
Yeah.
The EU is in shambles at this point.
They are, and they're going down.
They are.
And they all hate Israel again.
Well, that's, yeah. And so what we've discovered is our allies are the Arabian countries and Israel.
Yeah, isn't that something?
And not Europe.
Yeah, because Iran is bombing places like Saudi Arabia and Qatar and other places like that.
Well,
which used to be their buddies.
Yeah. So what's going to happen after all this is over is the United States is going to look for willing countries to become military allies.
Yeah.
And our willing countries that we're going to find are going to be in Eastern Europe. Poland has already agreed to take 5,000 troops, which will come out of Germany.
For a while, they were complaining that they were stopping.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a mistake by Hegseth or something.
So what we're going to end up doing is we're going to end up having a greater military presence in the Middle East just because they've become allies.
Okay.
And in Eastern Europe, just because they've become allies. Less of a military interest in Western Europe. So NATO is going to shift their organization into Eastern Europe in terms of where our troops are going to be. The other thing that's interesting in terms of world order is Asia.
Yeah.
Asia has been significantly affected by the reduction of oil and gas production. The largest producer of oil in the world is the United States, 25 million barrels a day. The world consumes 100 million. The largest producer in natural gas in the world is the United States. The world consumes about 4 million meters of natural gas a day. We produce 1.2 million meters, by far the largest producer in the world. The second largest producer of natural gas is Russia. They produce about 600,000 meters a day. So what we've discovered is the United States is the greatest military power in the world. We defeated Russia and China's defensive systems in Venezuela in an hour.
Yeah.
When we went in there. We defeated Russia and China's defensive systems in Iran in half a day when we went in there. We are by far the greatest military force in the world. It's not even close at this point in time.
We've proven that. And
Yes.
and things have changed just because of that, and our reputation of doing it is hurting like Saudi Arabia and places like Qatar, and saying, you know what, why don't we just deal with these guys and dump Iran, because Iran is Sunni.
Well, they tolerated Iran.
Not Sunni. They're
Shiites.
Shia. Yeah.
All of the Arabian countries tolerated Iran because they knew they had a military presence. Iran no longer has a military presence.
Yeah, and they're bombing these guys.
Yeah, and well, they're sending what missiles they have left to their ports, and it's a harassment more than anything. Saying,
well, they don't have them.
Iran is trying to say, we don't like the fact that you're supporting the United States.
Right.
That's going to be,
and they have turned Saudi Arabia and countries like that have turned against Iran and are advising them to make a deal.
Well, the EU, or excuse me, the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia has actually taken aggressive military action against Iran. It's not been publicized.
I didn't know that,
but it has occurred, and so you're going to see an alliance with the United States. The UAE has already done that.
Yeah,
they've gotten out of OPEC and have aligned with the United States. What that means is, and the other thing that's come out of the New World Order is, all of the Americas, North America, Central America, and South America, have become the most powerful area in the world. That is because they produce about half the world's oil.
Yeah.
They produce the vast majority of the world's food, and they have the strongest military country in the world in North America.
And OPEC is going broke.
OPEC's not going broke, but OPEC is being reorganized. OPEC Plus is run by Saudi Arabia and Russia. Russia is part of OPEC Plus. They work together with what used to be the OPEC countries. The big change in OPEC has been Venezuela, which is part of OPEC, OPEC Plus, and the United Arab Emirates. Those two countries account for about 10 million barrels of oil. That's a big reduction. Those countries have become aligned more with the United States. With what is produced in South America and in the United States, we have control of about half the world's supply of oil at this point in time.
We're here with Bob Willis live. This guy's a smart guy, forestry, and how many awards did you win for being a federal forestry manager?
Well, I guess the biggest thing was that when I retired, Joanne Emerson introduced a letter of acclamation on the floor of Congress for my contribution to both the executive and the legislative branch, which was very nice of her.
He knows a lot about oil, and he knows a lot about politics and worldwide, since he's been all over the world. Trump seems to be getting the FBI and the DOJ to arrest Dems for the 1-6, and I talked a little bit about that with McCluskey earlier, and with Bill Hardwick. But are they making enough are they doing the right things, and are they going to be effective in arresting some of these people?
Well, I think what you're going to find out from January 6th is that there were some infiltrators associated with what happened after.
What do you mean by some?
Infiltrators, what I'm talking about are people that actually took control of that crowd and directed their actions.
And were some of them FBI agents?
It looks like most of them came out of the Southern Southern Poverty Law Firm funded by Soros.
Antifa, maybe too,
possibly.
Black Lives Matter,
but certainly the Southern Law Association, which is already under indictment.
Yes,
I think that'll go further, and I think you will discover that some of the infiltration did occur from that organization, and I think there will be criminal actions against them.
Because sort of like the 2020 election, which we pretty well can understand just by watching what's happening with Georgia right now. That it was a fraud.
Well, I think,
and this also covers the insurrection, so-called insurrection by the MAGA world, which was also a well-kept fraud, and they're still talking about it as such, as a real thing. And I think that's going to stop pretty close if they start arresting these people who were running the FBI at the time, the DOJ.
Well, I think there is some. I think the FBI was involved in January 6th with some infiltrators that were also part of the process that created the problems and the situations. I think the biggest thing that's going to happen in terms of voting is that the Supreme Court is going to make a decision that any vote that's cast by a mail ballot will not be counted if it's received after the day of the vote.
Well, I certainly hope so.
And that's a big deal because
and also
we're talking millions of votes.
The unauthorized mailboxes that were used by Georgia, by other states.
Well, mail-in ballots are just rife with fraud.
Yes.
Anybody can make one out and send it in, and there's no verification.
And they found that.
That's why
in Georgia.
Oh, sure, they found it
in
California.
Right. Yeah, everybody.
Everywhere.
Right.
And that's going to be one of the big changes that occurs over the next few years.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if it's going to be enforced by the midterm elections this year or not, but some of it will be, and you'll see a different vote. There's no way you can have as many votes as we had in 2020 and have it to be valid.
Yeah. So, all right. So Trump is now facing a bad polls right now. Bad polls, but he just got rid of like 10 both Democrat and he is perfect in his record on getting rid of people and getting more Republicans
I think
in Congress.
I think what you see in terms of the primaries now that Trump has really dominated his selection, his candidates. The polls, I don't believe any of the polls, and nobody should.
They were never right in 2016.
The vast majority,
same thing's happening.
The vast majority of the polls oversample Democrats.
Yeah.
Consequently, the approval rate is down in all those polls. There are very few polls that do a legitimate sampling of Democrats, Republicans, and independents. Certainly the polls that come out on a daily basis do not. They oversample Democrats and suppress what the actual polling data is. I don't believe any polls.
Isn't that election fraud?
Fraud is hard to prove in polling. Just because you just because you sample 55% Democrats and 35% Republicans doesn't mean it's fraud. It just means you're really bad at polling.
If that's not explained, then everybody believes it.
If you go
and then they say, well, maybe I should vote for the other guy.
If you go
it's fraud to me.
Each poll has the rationale behind the numbers available.
Okay. Who's going to look at that?
Nobody's going to look at it. But it's there. So accusing them of fraud it's hard to do when they say, well, we're doing it this way and may not be right, but it's what we do.
Well, we need our own polls in that says the truth. How's the truth? Now you're seeing that somewhat on places like even CNN. You're seeing true polls. I'm shocked. And they're backing Trump.
If you really did a legitimate polling system, I think you'd find Trump is running about 50-50.
I think he's more. And once this, assuming this Iran war thing goes away, we're setting records today in terms of the Dow Industrial, and that's never happened in a war that I know of. Now, can he finish the job? I think if anybody is going to do it, it's going to be him.
Well, politics is fickle.
I know.
I mean, politics runs on media and media information, and never more so than today. Media is not reality. Reality is what people do when they go out and vote. What you're finding from the voting so far is the media has been totally wrong.
Well, from the polls to what Trump has accomplished is a complete disarray of what the polls did and have done in 2016.
Well,
I mean, when you go into half the day of the election day and still say Trump is 100% going to lose, and you're a pollster, why are those guys still in business?
Because they're supported by the Democratic machine.
Okay.
And by
But it didn't work. And it's not working now.
But when you look at control of power, one of the things that the Democrats are all about is actually being in control. And to maintain control, you have to control the media.
Wait a minute.
And they do.
My wife is early. No, she's just a little late.
She made it. She's got 4
just
minutes.
A little late. Give her a little applause for her. This is Man Alive. You're welcome. Do you feel better? Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Kinda? Okay.
Yeah, I need your help. But anyway.
You need my help right now? I'm sorry, but he has the microphone.
Okay, well let me just say one
Go
thing
ahead.
that we weren't able to discuss about the world order.
Yes.
Asia has been seriously degraded with the Iranian actions.
Because of oil and because of
two countries
threats.
2 countries are the largest consumers of oil in Asia are China, who have to have 16 million barrels a day, and India, which has to have 10 million barrels a day. India produces no oil.
Yes.
China only produces 5 million barrels a day. They're the largest importer in the world at 11 million barrels. Most of that comes from the Middle East, some from Russia, some from Malaysia. They have been seriously degraded by the Iran action. India is even worse. They have no oil at all. Most of it comes from Asia.
So who benefits from this?
Well, Russia is one of the big beneficiaries because they've increased their oil supply to both China and India. You know, they've increased it not a great deal to China, about 1 million barrels a day. They're around 2.5.
What about Turkey?
Well, Turkey is not a real big player in any of this, truthfully. Okay. The one country that has become
has a lot of influence with Trump.
Well, the one country that has become important is Pakistan.
Yeah.
Pakistan is a bit of a problem because they're aligned with Russia and China.
And Iran.
Well, they're Shiites, and so they are aligned with Iran. You can't.
There are Shiites there.
Yeah, you can't trust Pakistan too much more than you can trust Iran in terms of the political position, and they're going to support Iran.
Well, look at this. I can't believe it. I think we should do another hour. What do you think, JP?
He looks really happy about it.
he ain't happy. He's a happy guy. He did a great job today, and my wife did a great job of playing Princess today, coming in at the last minute.
I shared the show. I
Okay.
worked diligently for
Well,
an
we'll
hour.
check the figures later.
For an hour.
Okay.
I would guess it doubled as soon as she walked in the door.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know if she was coming in actually. So this has been great. We're going to be on to the next 2 weeks with Hardwick. And maybe Don, maybe not. And
If not, it'll be the Bill and JP show.
Yeah, I might have to. I might have to call in and watch you guys.
Be a guest on your own show. That'd be different.
That would be. What would I say? Oh my God.
We get to interview.
I don't know if I I get to come up.
When you snorkel Hawaii, go ahead and take a bunch of pictures and send them to the show.
Oh, sure. We'll get that right away after I hit the golf course. What's the matter with you? I'm going there because I was good.
You can play. You can play golf anywhere. Snorkel anywhere.
Who cares about that though? Snorkeling. All right, listen. We're going to be back soon, but next 2 weeks we're going to have the show, but not with me or my wife. Maybe calling in. Have a great weekend. We'll be back a couple weeks.